Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow. Yo, 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 what's good? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Yeah, what up, Ivory? I told you I was gonna go live earlier today. Make sure we got it in. What's good with you? Oh, you good, York? Don't worry about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I still got a lot of work to do, but I was like, you know what? Today we gonna break it up a little bit. Let's break it up. We'll do half. We'll do half and half. Okay. What's good, YouTubes? Holla at your boy, man. Villain, what's good with you? Yeah. You ain't never seen a woman commit paternity fraud. How about that? Oh no, my babies is off. It's spring break. We good. We good. We good today. My babies are off today. Let's do this. Let's run it back like this. Yeah. We're gonna play with the prompt a little bit in the middle. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a little couple different things. What's happening? What's happening? I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad everybody could show up today. It's Friday. I know y'all got jobs and stuff. Well, I'm glad y'all can still pop out with your boy. With your boy. What up, Valley? Mm-hmm. Both sides, Bobby. BSB. Mm-hmm. Hey, there we go. Almost off work. That's what I like to hear. Go on and go home and relax. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. I've been busy, man. I've been working. I've been I've been doing stuff. Doing my work. But yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the live. You on your way to work right now? That's what's up. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, I ain't been touching grass. I've been sitting in this chair since 9:30 this morning, my time. I haven't even gotten up, so it's about to be a long ride, and then I still got to do probably another 3 hours. So you know, hey, I'm happy to be on your FYP too. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Yeah, man. I haven't really. I mean, I gotten up. I walked around, but I had to do stuff for my baby. I ain't really went nowhere. I ain't really went nowhere. But let's get into it, man. You never seen a woman commit paternity fraud, but you see men do it every day. You never seen a woman commit paternity fraud. Oh, men can commit paternity fraud. They can. Happens all the time. It happens every day, Fred. You've seen it. Your daddy probably did it to you. That's the funny thing. You definitely know a man that did it. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. It's just funny. Every time we have the discussion about paternity fraud, the obsession with paternity fraud is hilarious to me. That men really be out here acting like that's even something to Now Michael said the jit wasn't his son. That's crazy. Don't dad state it, so did his. Yeah, Anthony Edwards, don't dad state it. I don't know what that means. Yeah, that was crazy. But it's wild how men be talking about like paternity fraud as much as we do. And then come to find out, there's way more men out here abandoning their babies. Y'all worried about the wrong shit. Y'all worried about some woman tricking you into taking care of a kid that ain't yours when she can't even trick a nigga into taking care of the kid that is his. How you think she gonna trick a nigga into taking care of a kid that ain't his? Y'all not using y'all motherfucking brains, I feel like, in 2025. I think y'all minds is shut off. If women got mind control like Debo, then tell me why fucking more than half of these babies is getting abandoned by their fathers. Ain't that weird? You know what's crazy? So y'all mean to tell me that all the men that is getting, that all the women committing paternity fraud on or whatever, that they're staying and raising their kids, but all the men who the kids is they biological kids, they not staying. It's just on by like either way, more than likely, them babies gonna get abandoned too. So why you so mad about it? Why y'all fighting for men? Why y'all fighting for the idea of a woman committing paternity fraud on a man when at the end of the day, no matter what, that baby gonna get abandoned by that man? More than likely, that baby gonna end up getting abandoned by that man. Like that, I'm not the shit. Don't. I just be trying to understand where y'all. What makes y'all think? What makes y'all think like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes you? How did you come to this conclusion? Why is this the hill y'all want to die on? Why is this the hill y'all want to unalive on? The hill of paternity fraud. What's exciting about paternity fraud? What excites you guys about it? It's the idea. I think you guys like the idea of a woman. I think y'all like the idea of being cuckolded. It's like a fantasy because y'all watch too much corn. Your brain all rotted and smooth and soft from all the corn y'all done consumed. So you think that that shit like sexy to you. If y'all seen White Lotus, you'll know what I'm talking about. A lot of y'all like old boy off of White Lotus. A lot of y'all like that dude on White Lotus. Pushing your girl away so she could cheat. Nah, not Sam Rockwell. The old dude. I think his name was Brian. He was an old dude with the young woman, not with the long hair, the bald head one, the rich one with the yacht. And he told his girl to go out there and find. Oh, Greg. Yeah, that was his name, Greg. Yeah, I know he had a regular name. I couldn't remember. Gary? He changed his name. I know it was one of those names. Yeah, Greg or Gary, one of those. But he, that man went out there and told his girl to go find him go find some dude to sleep with and go sleep with him in front of me. That's the type of shit y'all into at this point. I be trying to think about it. I think about the shit hard, man. I really sit down and be like, what? Why would you? Why are y'all so obsessed with paternity fraud, huh? To cure his mother wound. Yeah, that's what that is. Boy, if you don't go to therapy, you need shock therapy. If that's the way you're trying to heal your mother wound, you need to go to shock therapy at this point, because there ain't no hope for you. Weaponized victimhood? Yeah. Yeah. I just know, I'm just trying to find out. Like last night, we was having a discussion, and if y'all remember correctly, I asked that boy, have you ever seen somebody commit? He tried to say he saw somebody commit paternity fraud, a woman. And I said, how? First he brought up Kurt Franklin. He brought up Kurt Franklin, right? And he was like, oh, Kurt Franklin's mother said that she committed, whatever, Kurt Franklin's story. And I was like, I never heard of that before, which I haven't still, and I don't care to look it up. But I was like, oh, did his mama say that? Did his mama like admit to it? Or how do we know? Did Kurt Franklin say, like, I was confused. Like, I didn't know. I said I haven't looked it up. Oh, mind you, Kurt Franklin's mama was 14. Oh, okay. Man, come on, man. Come on. Nah, Siren. Nah, that ain't that. I know that ain't what happened. I know that man wasn't talking about a little girl. Oh man. Hey, Pinhead, didn't I block you? Am I tripping, y'all? Did I block Pinhead? I didn't block you, Pinhead. I might be getting you confused with somebody else. My bad. I thought I did. I ain't seen you in a minute. I think that's why. So I figured I had blocked you. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know. That's why I was asking. I didn't block you. If you were blocked, you wouldn't be unblocked. Like, I didn't unblock you. So. Think I did, or who you confused me with? I don't know. Oh, I don't. I think I confused you with Dirty Rotten People. Oh, I don't even know who that is. You never heard of it. I haven't been here in days. Yeah, I know. So I know. I just figured it out, but I confused you with another racist white dude. That's why. I was like, oh, okay. That's what happened. But I hadn't seen you in a while, so I just figured I had blocked you. And it just came, and I was like, wait, did I block you? No. Yeah. I don't really have too much to say about this. Is paternity fraud just when they're deceiving, thinking that they're the dad when they know they're not? The paternity fraud is the concept of it, the way that men, the part that men care about is when they think, so a woman will sleep with two men or however many men, and then or it doesn't even matter how many men she sleep with, but basically she gets pregnant and she knows that the baby is somebody else's baby. She knows the baby isn't, like she sleeps with you. I'm, I'm saying, my wife or my girl or whatever, she sleeps with you. Then I raise the baby as my baby, and she knows it's not my baby the whole time. So that's paternity fraud. This is just popularized based on like shows like Jerry Springer and Maury and shit like that. Is that where people are getting this from? I think men have been saying it for a while, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, probably. It was definitely pushed by those shows, but I think it was always a thing. I think that's why the shows were popular, because it was always like a thing. And then they just were like, so you're not saying that it doesn't happen from women, you're saying it happens from men a lot more. Yeah, in my estimation, I don't think women do it. I don't think it's like a real thing. It sounds like it could be real, but like every single time I try to play it out, I'm like, I don't know if it actually, I know I've never seen, that's why I put, you never seen it happen. For it to be a problem that men actually like to act like is a real problem. I'm like, why why do we never see these things that men say are huge issues in our society? Right?
I mean, these shows are obviously, I guess, just for entertainment. So are we to assume that these shows are just rooted in 100% falsehood and that women don't do that? And these shows are fake? All of them?
The shows are fake, yeah, 100%.
I mean, I know reality TV is fake to a point, but I always thought there was some truth to it. Right?
Well, these are talk shows. Reality TV and talk shows are different things. So Maury Povich was a talk show. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. If it were real, and here's the thing, Maury Povich and Jerry Springer prove how it actually doesn't happen. Because why would you need actors? It's the same thing I say about all the shit that men say women do, but I can never actually like women say men are abusive, right? Like that, just in general, men say women are abusive. And they talk about how men, how men talk behind closed doors and how disrespectful men are, how they try to gaslight them, how they abuse it, whatever, right? And then you just literally go to TikTok, type in narc-talk or narcissistic TikTok or whatever, and there are just scores of videos of men, not women. There's a scores of video of men just being complete narcissists. Just, and I ain't talking about physically abusing her, which there's a lot of that too. But I'm talking about men yelling in there, which is to me damn near physical violence, yelling in a woman's face, putting her down. She's completely right. It's wild, right? And I'm okay, so the thing that women say is true. They say it's true. They say men are doing this. I go look it up, and there's actual evidence of this. Forget the studies and all of that for right now. I don't even care about that. I'm just saying, there's actual video recorded evidence of men doing this to women, right? Okay, you flip that around. Because men love to say it goes both ways. Let's say specifically with narcissism and narcissistic abuse. Like I said, I've never seen it.
I'd like to understand also, men doing this to women, what would that look like? For example, men sleeping with multiple women? Because,
no. Hold on, wait. So paternity fraud, the way that men commit it is they tell the woman that they want to be a father, right? They tell the woman, oh, you're pregnant. Oh, awesome. Yeah, we're gonna raise this baby together. Oh, yes, I'm gonna be a great dad. And the woman goes, okay, cool. So let's, or they don't even have to say it, straight out, but they're there. They're with the woman, they're committed, whatever. And yes, I'm gonna take care of, whatever. So they go through the motions, right? And often it happens when the woman is pregnant, men will flip a switch and start to behave terribly and start to abuse the woman. But mostly by the time the baby is born or when the baby is born, the man flips the switch and he starts to become abusive and despondent, and he stops contributing and he stops showing up and all these things that if she would have known prior to her having this child, she would have opted to not have the child, more than likely, right?
So this is less of I guess it's just definitions and semantics, but this is less of paternity fraud as it is loving partner fraud, because there's still the dad.
That's not even, but that doesn't, I'm telling you, trust me. The phrase paternity fraud, I know the literal definition of it, but I'm saying when you think about it, the way that I'm describing it actually makes more sense to call that paternity fraud. You said you wanted to be a dad. You played the role of father for a period of time. And the whole time you never were committed to those babies. You were just doing that so you can maintain access to that woman. And as soon as you got denied access to the woman, you abandoned the kids. Completely abandoned it, by the way. There's, you're already in the middle of that. You ain't doing what you need to do. But then by the time the relationship completely dissolves, you have already abandoned the kids 100%. That, to me, that is real paternity fraud. That other shit that men be talking about that fucking don't never happen, that the only examples of it are on daytime TV shows that you've never seen. You've never met a woman that's done it. You've never seen that before. You've never seen it. You've never seen a woman or heard of a woman, even in your family, in your circle, commit paternity fraud. Not one. I haven't, you haven't, nobody in this fucking live. But we talk about it we talk about it as if it's an actual issue, but we don't talk about men acting like they wanted to be dads when they never wanted to be a father. They just always wanted access to that woman. They wanted to slow that woman down. They wanted to trap that woman with a baby. That shit happened every day. And I'll take it a step further. Not only does that happen every day, I think that happens in most cases with fathers. I think you can apply that to most fathers. I won't say the overwhelming majority, but I will say the majority. It's a significant amount. It ain't 51. Probably 60% of men don't give a fuck about them babies at the end of the day. They really don't.
And you think this results most of the time about men treating the women more poorly? Even if they don't break up, like that's how you would say that this manifests itself?
Are you trying to ask me what does it look like?
Because I'm saying, if you're saying it happens most of the time, like, are you saying like there's a degradation of quality about how the man would treat the woman
and the children? And the children.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't do it's not like he's mad that she's pregnant. He was always abusive, and he was just waiting until she was pregnant so he can reveal who he really was. Because now he got her. She's pregnant. He got her.
Like, so that's the whole reason why he got her pregnant, so he could trap her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. She would be more likely to leave him if she didn't have a child with him.
She would be this is what I'm saying. She would be more likely, because he's not being abusive prior to them having a child a lot of times, or as abusive, right? So prior to them having the child, he's a different type of person. That's not who he really is, though. He wants to be this other person who he really is. You see what I'm saying? Now the baby is coming, or it's here, and he gets there. I got you, bitch. And now
this is neglect.
Neglect, emotional abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse. It's all of it. Any and all of it. He becomes who he really was the whole time. The baby didn't change him. He didn't grow out of being a good, quote unquote, a good guy. That ain't what happened. He was always a piece of shit. He was just putting on. And abusers talk about this. This is what abusers will say. This is a known thing. This is like scientific. This is like clinical. like they've spoken to abusers, and they'll talk about abusers don't start off day 1, day 30, day 90, day 150. They don't start off as abusers. Because who the fuck, what woman would stick around in that scenario? If you start if you start abusing too fast, too early, you're gonna push her away. You gotta wait till you can hook her somehow. Somehow move in with her, and it's usually an escalation. They move in together. He starts to become more abusive. Because moving in is it's a big jump, but it ain't like getting married. It ain't like having kids. You know what I'm saying? So boom, now they're, but it's, financially binding. I'm paying half the rent. You're paying half the rent. You couldn't afford this place without me, whatever. Right. That's what, it's just more and more, and it progresses. And then, but the kid is when the shit really come off. Cause at that point it's like, gotcha. I got you. There's nothing you can do about it now. You a baby mother. Valley said, nah, Dirty Rotten and Pinhead the same nigga. But are they though?
Why'd you block him and not me then? What'd he do?
He threatened somebody.
Oh, like on your line, like here?
Yeah.
On your line?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he threatened the woman. So he had to go. 310 said, I'm giving men too much credit. No, I'm not. The one thing I know men are good at is abuse. Like if I'm gonna say one thing that I could really say men are good at, men are really good at this, it's abuse. For sure. Just in general. They're not really good at building stuff. They're not really good at, they're not really good at.
You think physical abuse is worse than neglect or emotional abuse, or the other way around?
I think it's all the same. Abuse is abuse.
I think maybe emotional abuse or neglect is worse, because wouldn't they be exposing themselves to their true colors if they physically abuse, and the woman would leave more quickly most of the time? Physical
abuse is emotional abuse. It's both. It's not
emotional abuse isn't physical abuse. I'm saying
exactly. Hold on, wait. Listen to what I'm saying. Why would emotional abuse be worse when physical abuse is both emotional and physical? And emotional abuse is just emotional abuse.
Okay, I mean, maybe I'm just not looking at this correct. You can physically abuse someone possibly without emotionally abusing them, but maybe not.
You can't. You can't. You can't hit somebody in the face and it not result in emotional abuse. That is what does it do to the trust? Now I can't trust you. You hit me. I can't trust you. You violated me. You like, no, yeah, it's emotional, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess, yes, it's emotional, but it's different than neglect. It would be different than certain types of emotional abuse, like neglect and stuff like that.
I think abuse is abuse.
Yeah, but why are we categorize them differently then? Is that just like a human thing that we do to like talk about it?
I think it's because the threat levels are different, for one. Right? Like if somebody has abandoned you, you're not gonna die because of that. It's terrible. You know what I'm saying? But it, and it could fuck you up and all that stuff, right? But you're not gonna actually like die from it. But if somebody is choking somebody repeatedly, yeah, they need to get out. We need to rescue them. That's like priority number one. It's like get them out of there. Like when it comes to their life being in danger. But as far as like the reverberating or long lasting effects, no, it's all like it's gonna fuck you up either way. Either way, you're gonna be fucked up from it mentally, no matter what. Getting punched, getting lied to, you know what I'm saying? Like getting kicked in your stomach or somebody gaslighting you. If once you physically remove yourself from the situation, mentally you're gonna be scarred no matter what. That's just is what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be, bro.
There's like physical abuse might be what finally makes people walk away. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, a lot of people can't walk away from physical abuse.
Well, true, like danger and threat and all that, but some people have been making an excuse for their abuser, which is really bad, obviously. But maybe the physical abuse is like wakes them up. I'm not saying it's good. Please don't take me by. This is good.
I don't understand what point you're trying to make right now. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to get at?
I'm trying to say all abuse is bad, but I guess I was trying to make a distinction. Just trying to talk about different abuse, but if it's all the same, it's all the same. I know it's hard to separate it. Whatever.
I don't know why I would want to separate abuse. I feel like abuse is abuse. I mean, it depends on the circumstances. Like I said, just in general, if I'm talking to a survivor of abuse, I'm not gonna be like, but did he hit you? Like I'm gonna be like, oh, like it's all abuse. Like I'm just gonna be having a conversation and listening. But like if somebody says that, like they're not, if somebody says like if they're talking about they're currently being abused, then yeah, if they say that they're being like, I'm going to be more concerned about a person that's physically being abused. Definitely. Josh, you can come up if you want to. Josh made a claim in the comments. He said that he's seen paternity fraud all the time in court. I would love to hear what that looked like. Because I bet I have a sneaking suspicion you've never seen it before. Saying you've seen it in court means what? That you like y'all, the way that y'all think paternity fraud gets proven is by getting a paternity test and then it coming back saying that the father isn't the father, and then in your mind you go, oh, paternity fraud. That's not what paternity fraud is. You have to prove the fraud. And my thing is do the courts even care? I'm curious. Like,
the courts don't care who it's bad.
Yeah, I'm like, why would a judge like care about paternity for, like, I don't think they give a fuck about that. That once they find out it's not that man's baby, then they just go on to the next thing. They don't go like, but did you know it was his baby? Like, they don't give a fuck. They just go, it's not his baby. And the woman goes, yeah, okay, I didn't know it was his baby. I thought it was his baby. All right, cool.
Is it not true in some states that adultery is illegal?
Maybe, probably, but what does that have to do with anything? That's not paternity fraud.
Because that would just,
Again,
not,
that's
like,
not
they
paternity
prove-
fraud.
Well, it could be linked. They could be linked, is what I'm saying.
It's not paternity fraud. Again, finding out that you're finding out.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
I'm not trying to interrupt. I just keep talking, and it's like you're talking to, so like that.
Yeah.
Is there more than one example of paternity fraud?
I mean, no, like technically, there's paternity fraud. There's a woman. There's only one way to commit paternity fraud. She knowingly has to. She has to know that the baby isn't that man's baby, and then. You know what I'm saying? Like she has to know it. But the thing about it is, here's the thing. Here's the thing about paternity fraud also. When you really think about it on a granular level, right? How can a woman 100% know if, and it is what I'm saying, she sleeps with multiple dudes within the window of conception, let's call it, right? How can she 100% know who the father of that child is scientifically?
She can know probability, not scientific.
She can guesstimate, but she can't know who the father is. She can't. So even then, there is plausible deniability that she doesn't even know who that, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if she could think, because here's what I'm saying, flip it around. Let's think about it in this way. Let's say she goes, okay, let's say I'm going to paint the scenario. Let's say she thinks, let's say she thinks that the baby is Rich's baby, right? She thinks it's his baby. Okay.
Sure.
But she's with me and she wants me to raise the baby. Right? This is how the men tell the story. She wants me to raise the baby. I'm a good dude. Rich ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Cool. So she stays with me. I'm raising the baby with, you know what I'm saying, with her, whatever. 5 years into it, I find out she cheating or cheated back then. Not that she cheat now, but she cheated back then or whatever. I go, all right, cool. I want to test the baby out. She could be like, I don't know, whatever. She could really be thinking the whole time she knows it's Rich's baby. We could go test that baby and it really could be my baby. That's happened before too. So I'm not understanding. You see what I'm saying? Like that's happened before too. So I'm not so what I'm saying is
It did happen.
Huh?
It did happen that she tested it and it was Rich's. Would you not say that would be paternity fraud, or at least like maybe call it something different? But wouldn't you agree?
No. I'm saying no. Listen to what I'm saying. I know what it is. I'm saying that is what it would be. It would be her knowing that the baby wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. But I'm saying when you use the word no, how can you know? You see what I'm saying? Like I'm saying from the woman's perspective, like how can she 100%? She can't know. She can only guess. She can give a good guesstimation, no doubt about it, but she can only guess at best. So exactly. But the fraud part is all rooted in the intentions. That's all it is. So no matter what, she intended to defraud me. No matter what, even if the baby was really mine, she intended to defraud me. She did intend to, no doubt about it, whether the baby was biologically mine or not. I'm telling you this shit. I've never seen it happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Where does it happen at? Everybody claims to know and think it's a thing, and then I'm like, okay, but where is it though? Where is it actually happening? I don't get it. But go ahead, Rich.
So that's an interesting thing. So in the process, right? So in the process of her getting pregnant and her making the person aware, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has to tell somebody that child is that baby is his, right?
Uh-huh.
So even if she knows that there's a possibility it could be somebody else's, right?
Okay.
he knows that person is his.
Hold on, Rich. Hold on, Rich. Give me 1 second. I gotta gather Teddy. He over here trip. Teddy bear, come here. Oh.
Logically,
My wife must be home because he ran away. He don't never run away. Okay, go ahead, Rich. I'm listening. Start over again. Say it again. I'm listening.
Yeah. So you know the woman has told somebody that it's his baby when it isn't his baby.
Okay.
That's a lie.
Yeah, I know what it looks like, bro. There's no argument of what it looks like. I'm just saying it's never happened, right? And I don't mean that literally. I'm just saying, like, you've never seen it happen. I've never seen it happen. He's never seen it happen. Nobody has ever seen it happen. There's no debate on what it looks like. I know what it looks like.
But what I'm saying is she's told someone it's so what you said is that she doesn't know whose baby it is, right?
No, I'm saying she does. For paternity fraud to be real, it's all about the intentions. So if her intent was to defraud you, then she committed paternity fraud. You see what I'm saying? Like if her intent was.
What I'm saying is, if she knows that there is a reasonable doubt that it might not be his, and she doesn't raise
that's not paternity fraud. No, a reasonable doubt is not paternity fraud. No, and that's my point. Is how would she know?
Should be honest. At the same time,
you can argue that. I'm not arguing the morals of it or the ethics of it. I'm not debating that one bit. You're right. I agree. She should say that. She should. You know what I mean? Like, okay, fine.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, she has lied. She has said it's yours when she doesn't actually know if it's his.
The only way a woman will know if a baby is 100%, that man's is because she knows she hasn't slept with anybody else. That's it.
Only she's privy to that information, right?
Yeah, only she knows.
Only she knows whether there is someone else in the picture or not.
Mm-hmm.
But she hasn't. But then at the same time, she has made out that there isn't, right? By telling him it is categorically his, right? She's kind of been dishonest.
What are you saying? She's been honest.
She's been dishonest. So she's been dishonest, right? Because she's told someone it is their child when actually she doesn't know whose child it is.
Yeah.
So she's been dishonest. So she's lied.
Yeah, is this about a woman lying? I never say women don't lie.
If you lie and tell someone it's their baby when it isn't, then I don't see how that isn't.
Because the intent has to be, she is trying to make you raise somebody else's kid, quote unquote.
But then, why would she look if she doesn't know whose it is and she's saying is somebody, it's your kid, and she actually doesn't know? Why else would she be doing that?
Because she may actually think it's your kid.
But how would she know? She clearly doesn't know.
I just said that. But she could think it's your kid.
Why would she think? Look, if it could.
Because she slept with two men around the same time, and she did the best math she can do.
She rolled the dice. Like how would she wouldn't know, right?
She wouldn't. Exactly. Hold on, wait. Exactly.
She wouldn't know, right?
Name any other case of fraud where the other person doesn't know what's going on. Name. Remove it from paternity fraud. Think of any other form of fraud where the perpetrator of the fraud isn't sure about what's going on, or maybe there's a chance of this, or maybe there's a chance of that. You name it. Just tell me what that looks like in any other instance in a case of fraud. Because I can't think of it.
Okay, I just off the top of my head, right? Let's say a sum of money winds up in your bank account, right?
Okay.
And it is the result of some sort of error that you had nothing to do with. You're not actually sure, where it comes from. Let's say it comes from.
It don't matter. It came from the bank.
Let's say it comes from the tax, right? Because everyone gets. Let's say it comes from the tax office, the IRS, whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you spend it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fraud. You will
no, it's not. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
I don't know how it goes in over there.
That ain't how I go in America.
If that happened in the UK, you have to pay the money back.
Yeah, they'll make you pay it back, maybe. But it shouldn't. My thing is, to me, that's not fraud. Like, for an example, if I find $50,000 on the ground, I know it ain't mine. I know it ain't mine, but I found it. Why the fuck I got to turn it in? Nah, fuck out of here.
Yeah, but if it winds up in your bank account in this country, you'd have to pay it back.
Yeah, maybe. You know what? Because I think they have charged people for that, and I always thought it was some weird shit. Because I'm like, if y'all like right now, my wife just got me some In-N-Out. If they mixed up the orders and gave me 17 orders of fries, and I got home and I don't turn back around and give it to them, how am I committing fraud?
No, that scenario, they probably wouldn't take it back from
you. Yeah, where's the fraud being committed? And listen to what I'm saying, Rich. In the scenario you named, I know that ain't my money, right?
You might not. Like, you can argue that you don't.
Hold on, Rich. Hold on, Rich. Let's think about it logically. Let's be reasonable about it. You spend money that's because if you have so much money that you don't notice it, then you wouldn't spend the money. See what I'm saying? But if it's so much money, if you have $150,000 in your account on Monday, and then you wake up and you got $250,000 in your account on Tuesday, and you spend $100,000 of the $250,000, you knew good and goddamn well that wasn't your money, correct? Hold on. Answer that question, correct? Because that's simple math, right?
Say it again.
You go to sleep with $150,000 in your account. You wake up, there's $250,000 in your account. Is there any suspicion in your brain? Is there a fucking inkling of a thought that maybe this money isn't here by error, by accident?
There might be an inkling.
What?
There might be an inkling that it's not your money or whatever. Just like there might be an inkling.
No, you missed what I said. The opposite of that. You would know 100% it wasn't your money. If it was $100, maybe you would think like, oh, maybe they just made an error. $1,000, maybe they just made an error. $100,000, nigga, you know that ain't your money.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. So I'd probably go in and look at where the payment came from.
That's not, hold on, bro. Don't get lost in the sauce. Listen, again, this is your analogy. You were trying to prove something here. I'm simply saying, if I know that the money isn't my money and I spend it, then I'm not confused about it. There's no question that the money isn't my money. I know 100%. There's a 100% chance that money isn't my money. So it's not the same thing as what we were talking about with women and the children.
You've changed the scenario. I
didn't change it. No, I didn't. Okay, so your scenario just didn't make sense the whole time. You thought it did.
Let me give you the original scenario, and we can decide whether it makes sense.
Okay.
I said, like, let's say it comes to the year end, right, and everyone gets their taxes back, right, and you get twice as much as you thought you would get, right? Sorry, I get twice as. I'll use me as an example. Right?
No matter.
I get twice as much taxes back as I thought I did, right? And I spend it. They will still consider that they will still demand the money back, and they'll take it back.
What's the point? Right? You still knew that money wasn't yours.
I didn't necessarily know.
Of course you knew.
Well, why would I know?
Twice the money?
It's a bit more than I thought it was, but
hold on, wait. Twice the money. You got back twice the money you were expecting, and you wouldn't have thought that was a fucking error? Twice the money?
Let's say I calculated.
Hold on, brother. Rich, that's not how taxes work, by the way. You do your taxes. They tell you how much you're getting back before you get it back. They say you're going to get back $7,000, right? Cool. But then 14 comes to your account. You don't think that that's an error?
Yeah, so it's different here. See, it works differently. It works a little bit differently. It depends how you're paid. It depends how you're paid, right? So if some people don't do their own taxes and stuff, right? And some years
you don't have to do your own taxes. They still tell you how much money you get.
Yeah, you know how much money you're gonna get before you get the money, regardless, bro. You don't get taxes instantly. I mean, H&R Block, they can give you the money, but it ain't gonna be an accident.
I know. Look, what I'm saying is, and I can only speak for me, right? If I get more taxes than I thought I would, right? I'm not going to 100% assume that it's an error.
Then you're a dummy.
You should
have. Then you're a dummy. That's just dumb. I'm just telling you the truth. That's just dumb. That's not intelligent.
Well, you can say that.
Everybody thinks no. You just said I can only speak for me. You're right, because you're the only person that doesn't think that that's dumb. You're the only. I promise you, you're the only person.
I don't think. What I think is that you're trying. That is your way of making my example not stick.
It doesn't stick.
Well, that's
again. You hold on. Wait. Again, they tell you beforehand. I don't know why you keep acting like this is not how it happens. Even in your own scenario, which I'm tired of talking about because it's dumb, but your taxes, they say you fill out, you do all your taxes, you don't do it doesn't matter. You have your tax proprietor do it. They tell you, hey, Rich, you should be getting back around 8,700 pounds. Okay, cool. 2 weeks go by, you check your account, you got $19,000 in there. You're going to think, oh, whoop-de-doo, no mistake here. Those are
big numbers. Those are big numbers. Do you understand? You went from 7,000 to 18,000, right?
That's double the money, roughly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, no, it's not. First of all, so your maths is bad. But
I said it's double the money, roughly.
Let's pretend it's not. Let's forget tax, right? Let's say it's your paycheck, right?
Your analogies are worse. Your analogy makes less sense, bro. Just stop. You guys are not good at analogies for two reasons. I say this all the time. You're not good at analogies in these cases. One, because you don't have knowledge of the thing you're talking about, the thing you're making an analogy about, and you don't understand the subject to begin with. Like, you don't understand paternity fraud intimately. You don't get it. And then now you're trying to make an analogy about it, and the thing you're talking about, you don't understand either. So now you're just bad on both ends. That's what I'm saying. I know more about paternity fraud and about taxes, obviously, than you do. So now it's just dumb. What you're saying doesn't make sense. So let's leave analogies out of it. Let's get back to reality. Hold on. Let's get out of analogy. Get back to reality, right? In reality, you've never seen a woman commit paternity fraud. I've never seen a woman commit paternity fraud. Pinhead has never seen a woman commit paternity fraud. And the list goes on and on and on and on. So why the fuck do we got to talk about it every day on the internet?
Well, see, in my opinion, right, I believe that if you are privy to information that might not be their child, and yet you tell them categorically it is your child, even though you know it may not be, to me,
that's not fraud. That's not fraud.
Also, hold on a minute, Rich. That could be the case. Like, that's immoral and really bad.
It is.
I did look up a definition of fraud. There has to be some sort of financial gain or something gained for it to be categorized as fraud. In this situation, what would the woman be trying to gain from the man?
Financial support.
She can get that from the other man.
Well, not necessarily.
Necessarily. Yes, necessarily. Yes.
No, it depends.
You got to pay child support no matter what, brother.
Yeah, but it depends on what you're earning. You pay depending on your earnings, right? So if she picks the higher earner, then
you're just making an assumption now, saying that's what women are doing.
Okay, first of all, I've seen it. It's happened to my own family.
No, it hasn't. Now you're about to lie. You've never seen it. Stop lying.
Why would you say that?
Because I asked you a question. Okay.
It happened to my own cousin.
It happened to your cousin. Okay, cool. I got a test for you. One question only. Did you hear out of her own mouth, she openly admitted to committing paternity fraud?
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay, so you never seen it happen. Again, like I said, you never, because that's the only way for you to know. I'm going to tell you that. That's the only, I swear to God, hold on. The only way for you to know if it's paternity fraud is if she admits to it. There's no other way to prove it. There's no other way to prove it.
So that's your whole basis on saying that we've never seen it.
You've never seen it. The reason why I don't listen to men about this is because men, again, you don't know what paternity fraud is. You think that if a woman sleeps with two men, she chooses a man for whatever reason. I don't give a fuck what the reason is. She chooses a man. The kid comes out. They raise a baby, however many months, days, weeks. I don't give a fuck. Whatever it is. Then come to find out that baby isn't that man's. You automatically assume she committed paternity fraud. But what if she just didn't know? Which is the case pretty much in every case.
But if she didn't know and she said she did know, she lied.
And how did you prove that? That's what I'm asking you, Rich.
If he didn't know,
Rich,
yeah.
listen again, Rich. Unless she tells you she lied, how would you prove that?
You can prove it because the baby's not yours. Look,
that's not the proof. See what I just said? I literally just said you can't. That's why you tried to brush past it real quick. I just said you can't. That's not how you prove it. You don't prove it by the baby not being your baby. You guys don't know what paternity fraud is. Again, you think paternity fraud is the baby's not mine and I thought it was mine, therefore it's fraud. That's not fucking fraud, bro. That's not fraud.
But here's the thing.
Jesus Christ.
Let me land my plane.
Okay.
Let me land my plane.
Go ahead.
If she doesn't know whose baby it is, i.e., there's multiple options. If she doesn't know whose baby it is, and she tells you that she does know whose baby it is and it's yours, she's lying. She's lying.
She didn't lie.
He did lie.
In every case, in any case outside of she didn't sleep with anybody, there's a chance it could be somebody else's baby. But she could have been really taking the best guess or really thinking, this is my sir. If she think, I know it's not a lie though. A guess isn't a lie.
The lie is in saying that you knew when you didn't know.
How can anybody know?
What do you? If you only sleep with one person, you would know that it's their baby.
That's the only way. That's what I've been saying. That's the only way to know. Any other way, if you sleep within that window of conception, she can't know. That's all I'm saying. She can't know.
She should say. What I'm saying is, her saying that she knows when she doesn't know is a lie.
Rich, can I ask you a question? Should anybody that's sleeping with multiple people tell the other person? And I want to ask you, should they? Do most people who sleep with multiple people simultaneously, do they typically divulge to their partners that they're sleeping with multiple people?
No, they don't. I don't know.
They don't. They don't. Thank you for that. They don't. So my question would be, why is that any fucking different than her being like, yeah, I think it's his baby because we slept together?
Because now there's a baby. Now you're about to pin a baby on somebody.
Rich, don't get ahead of myself. What Public said is important. The wording matters. He says, I think. If you say, I think it's your baby, it's not even lying because then you're saying, I think. You're right?
Yeah.
Would that be fair to say?
Well, that's fine. And if you said, I think it's your baby to anybody, it would be their duty to take to make sure. But the problem is when you say it's your baby, right? That's where the problem is.
I'm just saying it's not fraud. I'm not disagreeing with you that it's not immoral, that it's not wrong. I agree with you. That's not we're not having that discussion at all. We can agree on that all day long. Should she tell him that maybe there's somebody that's possible? Yep, she should. I agree. But it's not fraud, though. That's all I'm saying. That's not fraud.
But it is a lie. It is a lie, though. If she says it's
again, two things could be true at the same time, right?
Right. Well, then we agree. Then we agree. Then I guess we kind of agree. Then
we agree on what?
It could be a lie and not be fraud.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be a lie and not be fraud, and it is a lie and it's not fraud. That's all I've been trying to tell you.
And it's only not fraud on the basis that
the intention.
It hasn't. The intention hasn't been proved. It
yep.
may be what you're saying.
It could be.
It may be fraud.
It could be.
We just don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm telling you because what it just don't make no sense. Like, what woman is gonna be like, yeah, I knew it was yours, but I told him it was his. Like, I've seen that shit in some movies.
Yeah.
Maybe in a you know when you might hear that when I just thought about it. You might hear that shit in like a fit of rage. You can hear that shit like a woman like snap on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say that.
That ain't even your baby anyway. Like, I can see somebody saying that. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I can see that.
There would be a good reason for her. She wouldn't want to tell even if she knew, right? Logically, her relationship could end, etc., right? Like, there would be reasons why she had to. I mean, they'd still be wrong, but for her not to tell if she knew.
100%.
Right. Yeah. So, no.
Yeah, it's 100%.
It's very hard to prove fraud, though. So in general, I mean, I guess
it is,
especially in this situation, it'd be almost impossible.
It is. It's really hard to prove fraud.
So then, what is the other part of the front then?
That men commit paternity fraud, because a real paternity fraud is men saying that they're going to be fathers and then they abandon their kids. That's real. That's really paternity fraud. Absolutely.
That could be proof of fraud if you asked him, did you know when your wife had a baby you were going to leave her beforehand, right? That would be how that plays out.
No. That's not how it works. It would be before, which this has already been admitted, though. Abusers have admitted, I wait until, I get my hooks into her pretty much. I mask for years until I get my hooks into her, and then I reveal who I really am, because it doesn't work. It works better that way. It doesn't work as good when if I started to abuse day one, week one, month one, year one. It's easier for her to get away from me then. But after year 3, year 4, I done got her pregnant. I done isolated her from her friends and family. You know what I'm saying? She's financially dependent on me. I told her to stay home, and I'm gonna help her take care of these kids, and I'm gonna financially provide for the children. Now I got her, and now I can do whatever I want. That's what abusers say. So they openly have admitted to this. That is fraud. That's fraud. That's what fraud looks like to me. I don't know about to y'all. That's fraud.
I mean, that's a lot more than fraud. That's way worse than fraud. I mean, anyone that...
Oh yeah, no. It ain't only fraud, but it is fraud though. It's 100% fraudulent. And that's the real paternity fraud. And then on the back end, I want to take care of the kids. I love them babies. I'm a father. Him and the wife, him and the girl break up. He abandons the kids. Oh, okay. So you never loved them kids? Nah, fuck them kids.
No, I don't know about that. I kind of...
You don't know about what?
I mean, look, if the relationship breaks up, then sometimes, the family breaks up a little bit. Like, I don't know that that's necessarily the father saying, F them kids or whatever.
Man, what?
It's not if he stays in their lives and is a good father, single father. But...
Bro, what? What are you saying, Odo? What are you saying? I'm totally confused.
Maybe I didn't understand.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah, the point I'm making is, sometimes when relationships break up for multiple reasons, there can be a distance between, particularly obviously if the man moves away from the kids physically.
Why would you move away from your kids? That's abandonment.
I mean, if let's say the man's kicked out of the home.
Okay.
Then
if she's living in the town, why can't you live in the same town?
I mean, look, sometimes there's a wedge that's driven between
the wife, the ex-wife, and the ex-husband. Yeah, but not the kids though.
But then naturally, it's going to cause it kind of,
No, it doesn't. I don't give a fuck if my wife tried to kill me. That wouldn't have nothing to do with the relationship between me and my fucking kids. Like, what are you talking about? My babies are they are their own. We have our own relationship. Me and my children, me and my wife are together, obviously. So we all are, we are fucking unit, right? But me and my babies I have a whole relationship with my kids that have nothing to do with my wife. You know what I mean? Like, so it don't matter what happens with her. I'm their father forever. I don't even understand. Like, I don't even get it. I don't know what wedge could be driven between us.
Okay, so you've got a wife that understands that, but let's be clear now. If your wife wanted to drive a distance between you and your kids and make it difficult for you,
I mean, for like a short period of time, and then I would just go to court and win, and then I would have access to my kids.
Yeah, maybe you might do.
No, 90%, 95% of the time. Yeah,
maybe.
So I'm not worried about that. I've never been worried. I mean, also because me and my wife ain't never getting divorced, but I'm not worried about that. Like, that is something that I literally have never. I'm not even playing. I'm talking about from the moment, because I knew I was gonna have a family when I was a fucking teenager. When I was in junior high school, I was thinking about getting married. But
can I just turn your attention quickly to the comments, right? Because I've seen this a lot of time, right?
Okay.
Men don't fight for their kids.
They don't.
Why would a man need to fight anybody for his own kids? If both parties understand the importance of the relationship and the father, why should he ever need to fight anybody for his kids?
Are your kids, because your kids are important to you, and if somebody is making it difficult for you to get your kids, then you got to fight for them.
Yeah, but why should the fight exist in the first place?
You have to ask the woman. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. I feel like we can say a lot of why should they break up in the first place? Why should he not keep the family together? We can do that all day.
Yeah.
Because they do. In a lot of cases they don't. But in the cases that they do have to fight, quote unquote, that's just what you have to do. If you want to start talking about woulda, coulda, shouldas, we got to start before the breakup.
But don't you think it's interesting? Don't you think it's interesting when that scenario is clearly, first of all, if the guy has to fight to see his kids or fight to be in his kid's life,
he fucked up.
The issue.
He fucked up. But he fucked up though. But hold on, wait. But take it back, Rich. Hold on. Logically, if you are with the woman, and I'm talking about the vast majority of cases, if you were with the woman and then you guys break up and then she tries to stop you from seeing your kids, you fucked up, brother. Like, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. You fucked up. Like, I don't know what you did. I don't even want to get into I don't even care. You fucked up. Like, I'm not, what are you talking about? Like, what woman is just out of the fucking blue? You know what I'm saying? Like, just the same way, like, y'all be trying to make, like, yeah, women just be leaving good men. They don't. And they definitely not fucking gonna make a good father, like, fight for his kids. So every single fucking man, I'll say this with every breath, every ounce of life in me, every single man I have ever come across that has told me and complained about having to fight for their kids, every single one, I assume they are abusive. Not to say all of them are abusive, but that is instantly what I think. I'm like, oh yeah, you must be fucking terrible. Like, not only do I think you're abusive, I mean, I'm saying I think you are probably terrible. Like, you are probably atrocious. Like, what?
I think your line of thoughts is atrocious.
Why?
Because why would you make that assumption?
Because what woman would stop a fucking father from being in their kid's life for no reason?
It happens.
For no reason? Like, nothing at all. He's a doting father. He's been showing up the whole time. He knows their doctor's names. He knows their teacher's names. He knows their allergies. He knows their bedtime, their bed routines, all of this stuff, right? That daddy. They just, but him and her didn't work out for whatever. Let's say even that was amicable, right? They broke up. And then she just like, no, I'm bitter and I'm going to take him to court. Like, that's the type of shit y'all be really thinking is happening out here. Like, stop, bro.
So many men for so long that is the narrative, and that's why I hate to bring up a celebrity situation, but we all know them. That's exactly why DDG pulled what he pulled with Halle, because he knows it's easy to sell the bitter baby mama who keeping me from my baby story. Everybody wants to believe it already anyway. So yeah, any man who has a baby and they're not with the mom, he can easily just say, "Oh, she's keeping me away," and they're gonna believe it.
Yep. Hey, Valley said the men literally admitted it. It's not speculation. Go ahead, Rich. She was talking about the abusers, by the way.
Yeah, no, it definitely. I mean, the reason why you can quote unquote sell it is because it happens, and I've seen it happen. It happens. It definitely happens, right?
But you keep saying you've seen it happen. You got to stop lying to me, because I'm not. Rich. I don't think you understand the things that you're describing, right? You guys really don't get this, and it's because you guys are so you are either believing the lie so much that you think that it's common, or you're lying yourself. And I don't know which one it is. I'm not going to assume that it's you are lying. It could be a combination of the two. But what I'm saying is the thing you are describing is so rare. In both of these cases, the paternity fraud, rare. The woman just trying to keep a man away from a good daddy, super rare. So I come when I talk to a man, and it just so happens every day, every guy I talk to, just mysteriously, he has seen every fucking thing that nobody else has ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like at this point, you were telling me you've seen a Loch Ness monster twice. And I'm like, really? You seen the Yeti and you seen the Loch Ness monster at this point. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
No, so okay. So first of all, right, the first scenario I gave you of my cousin, and by the time, I'll give you the whole story. I did not make it up. It absolutely happened, right? This girl was about 7 or 8 by the time he found out, and the only reason that he found out was because his mum, my auntie, who's like she's like a pit bull. She got a paternity test in secret. She swabbed the child in secret. He would, if not for that, right, he would still be raising a child. That is a fact. That happened. One thing I'm not going to do.
I didn't say that the story didn't happen.
You said I was lying. I'm not going to.
What you were lying about was that she committed fraud.
Okay, no. I just told you what happened.
I did, sir. I'm not saying that you've never seen somebody find out years after the fact that the baby wasn't theirs. I've seen that too. That doesn't prove fraud. That's all. I've been telling you that this whole time. That doesn't prove fraud. Cool.
Right, because she didn't come out and say she did it on purpose. Okay, fine. The second thing I said happened. It definitely happened. It happened in my. I'm not gonna. You know what? I won't go into the details, but it definitely happens that women weaponize the kids and stop the dad from seeing the kids when they're a good dad. Sometimes they do it, especially when they're a good dad and they've got a strong relationship with the kids.
You said especially when he's a good dad. Okay,
Yeah.
What would be the reason?
Absolutely, because she's split. She's estranged from this dad, right? And the dad has a better relationship with the kids than she does, right? That's how it.
Oh, you had a lot of variables, but okay.
No, there wasn't a lot of variables. We're talking about.
They're estranged. The dad has a better relationship than she does. Okay. What else?
Yeah. Look, I'm not. I wasn't adding. I was just telling you how it logically.
Let's think about this logically again. So the father has a better relationship with the kids, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing I'm going to take that as he's more involved with the kids than the mother is.
He has a better relationship with the kids than the mother. Not necessarily. Just
how does that? How I don't even think those two. How does that work? How can you have a better relationship but not be as involved?
He probably grooming them.
Like, I'm not. How does that even work?
It does. I mean, it absolutely works because you're more. Listen, just because the mother might do more, like do the cooking or whatever, but the actual relationship with the child, the connection with the child, can be.
So he gets to be the easy parent, and you think that's the better connection because he don't have to do shit. He don't got to tell them to brush their teeth. He don't tell them to go to sleep. He don't make them do their homework. He doesn't challenge them at all. He gets to be the good parent, and you think that is him having a better relationship? Get the fuck out of here. He don't have a better. What you're saying doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying, bro. Hold on, man. Hold on, dog. The thing about this is it drives me crazy because as a parent, the shit you say doesn't make sense from a parental standpoint. The parent that is the most involved is the parent that has the better relationship with the kid.
That's nonsense. That means
it's not nonsense.
It is, because that means that 90%. Because let's face it, if we say that 90% of marriages, the woman does most of the things with the kid, like she's more hands-on with the kids. That means that all of us have a better relationship with our parents,
and we do.
And that's nonsense.
And we do.
That's absolute nonsense.
It's not absolute nonsense. We do.
Many of us are closer to our dads than our mums.
No. What you did was, and it's what a lot of men do. You always hated your mama because she was a woman. You was taught to hate your mama because you was taught to hate your mama. Stop, bro. Stop. You was taught to hate your mama because she was a woman. But when you think about it, if you take a fucking second, and I don't mean to equate men to dogs, but I'm gonna do it right now because we people and it's little. it's a little it makes sense. The person who feeds the dog the most is the person the dog loves the most, typically, right? I don't know if it could go another way, but typically the person who feeds the fucking dog the most, the person who walks the dog the most, the person, like, that's usually the person that the dog gonna follow around the house all the goddamn time and be sniffing after all the goddamn time and da-da-da-da-da, right? Cool. Now because I do think that this works for humans too. You meaning to tell me the person that washed your nasty ass the majority of the time, made sure you had food in your belly all the fucking time, sat with you, listened to you the most when you had to get shit off your chest all the time, signed you up for all your sports shit, made sure you had all your necessities. You telling me that somehow, some way, for whatever fucking reason, you become an adult or whatever, you get older and you have a better relationship with the parent that didn't do that shit with you, and you not understanding how that may happen? Why do you think that is? What do you think happened there?
You made a bunch of assumptions, right? You made
what assumptions?
Listen,
what assumptions did I make? I made up a scenario. I didn't make an assumption. I made up a scenario.
You said the person that, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, but like confiding or whatever, right? You made assumptions that would be your mom. Like, that could be your dad. Might not be your mom.
Bro, typically, it's your fucking mom. Typically.
I don't know. Look, I don't know.
We're talking about in general. What happens is you guys get so stuck on centering yourself that you can't understand that we're having a conversation about people in general, and whether you are a man or a woman, you are typically taken care of for the majority of the time by your mother. Thus, you have a better relationship and or affinity for your mother because she was always present. Now, anecdotally, if she was present and abusive, that's one thing. If it,
and your daddy wasn't. Wait, okay. Right. And your daddy wasn't. But then think about that. Your mama's abusive. Your daddy ain't. Why you not gonna resent both of them?
Right. You're not gonna resent your dad
for not protecting you from your mama. Right. What the fuck?
Taking you away from this crazy lady, right?
Are you serious, bro? This is
crazy. Video yesterday of a man in couples therapy with his wife, and he was telling the therapist that he always thought his dad was a great dad. He considers his dad a great dad, and then later on in the conversation said his dad was very physically abusive to his mom.
Oh, that's what men do, that shit every day. My daddy was great. My daddy was awesome.
Yep.
I never, but
that's an example of what you're talking about right now, Rich. Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, he every now and then, but he was a great dad. What the fuck?
Teresa said prevalence of paternity fraud in the UK is 0.3%. Jazzy 20 said, not him comparing his black aunt to a pit bull. Yeah, I clocked that. I let it go though. In real time, I ain't gonna hold you. Anthony Reeves said, I don't agree that the custodial parent automatically has a better relationship. Custodial parents can be abusive. Yeah. Custodial parents can be abusive. And we just addressed that. But generally speaking, if the custodial parent is abusive and the non-custodial parent isn't abusive, but the non-custodial parent doesn't save the child from the custodial parent, then the child is probably gonna and should resent both parents. That's just the fucking reality. I'll be mad at my dad and I would be mad at my mom. Definitely. Especially my dad. Like a woman, here's what I'm saying. A woman not being able to protect her child from the man, I can understand that. I can understand that because the threat of violence is way higher, right? But when you flip that around, a man can't protect his child from the mother. Why not? What's she gonna do? You can't. What do you mean? You can go to court. You can beat her in court, and she ain't. What's she gonna do? You afraid she gonna run up on you and unalive you or something like that? Like, she gonna put hands on you? Like, what are you worried about? There's nothing. There's like you. Like I'm just saying. Like that's why the shit don't make no sense to me. I'll be extra upset at my dad if he didn't protect me from my mom. I'll be upset if I could be resentful towards my mom too, but I'll be extra upset at my dad. Like
it's natural, but it's natural also to be resentful of the non-custodial parent, especially if you grew up in poverty, you didn't have money, and you knew he was somewhere out there doing what he wanted to do, but not making sure you were straight.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's completely understandable, Rich. Wait. So if you, Rich, had a close relationship with your dad, but not your mom, okay, we're not talking to you. We're talking to the majority of people who have an affinity for the parent who reared them the most. The mama who breastfed them, cleaned up their throw up, changed their diaper, held them at night when they were febrile, took care of them, took them to the doctor, knows all their allergies, etc. A man who comes and picks you up on the weekend, of course, that's fun. But a man who you grow up in adulthood and realize that he knows nothing the fuck about you is heartbreaking. I just realized this shit about my dad the other day. He knows nothing about me as a woman. He knows nothing about me as a person.
And
we grew up in the house together. He was married to my mom.
Go talk to
but my mom did everything. So how now, as an informed adult, realizing that this person didn't even care to know things about me, does not seek out information, does not ask me how I'm doing, and now I have 2 children, and he wants to be a doting grandfather.
Fuck out of here.
It's wicked work.
You know what's crazy? Yesterday we just had this discussion. It just reminded me again, because this is exactly what I was talking about. And the men, they was mad. That one dude, he brought up Cynthia G and was like, "Oh, Cynthia G said that, made that comment or whatever." And Shannon was like, yeah, like I can understand where she's coming from. This is one of those scenarios, again, in real time. Women out here birthing men just for the man to grow up and lie on the mother. Like, what? The woman, think about it. I could easily put myself in this position because this is crazy. I risk my life to have this motherfucker, right? And I'm not saying they owe me anything. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not saying like you owe me anything. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying I'm the mother. I risked my life to have you. I had you. I raised you. I fed you. I took care of you. I nursed your wounds, your boo-boos. I kissed them. I did all of that. I saw you. I protected you from your daddy. I even probably lied on behalf of your daddy. All them presents that was bought, I put from mom and dad on there. Really, he didn't have nothing to do with it. I did all of that just for your ass to be 30 years old, getting on the internet lying, talking about I'm closer with my dad than I am with my mama. My nigga, if she could do it all again, she should have swallowed you. That's crazy. That like I don't know what to say. Like that kind of like what the fuck? That shit is disgusting, bro. I couldn't imagine what that shit would feel like if your mama heard you saying this shit about your daddy right now, lying on that woman, satirizing that woman's name.
It might be true.
It ain't true though. You lying on your for the sake of defending miserable men. You out here lying on your mama. For the sake of defending shitty men, you lying on your mama. I might bring you personally.
Now tell us the bad thing about your mama that your mama did to you. You're not close to your mama as you is to your dad. What's the horrible thing your mama
and before you answer that, and I bet anything, even if your mama was not the most whatever person, it was because of your fucking daddy.
Absolutely not. See
you about to lie again? You about to lie again?
Answer my question.
What's your question?
What was the terrible thing that your mom did to where you resent your mother and praise your father? What is that terrible thing?
Yeah, I'm not about to like hear it on my.
Okay, well then stop saying it, but stop trying to show mom again if you ain't gonna tell the whole story. If you ain't gonna keep it GP, if you ain't gonna keep it 100, keep that shit off the playground.
Mm-hmm.
Darnell.
Cause I wanted to know. Cause I be really trying to figure out what your mamas did to y'all.
No, you don't want to trust me.
I want to know. I want to know.
He also said most people are closer with their dads than their mom, which we know is like an extreme. Yes, you did.
I didn't hear him say that. I must have missed it.
You said a lot of people. Maybe you didn't say both. Maybe you didn't say most. But you said aren't a lot of people closer with their dads than their moms?
No. What's a lot? 5%? 10%? What's a lot?
Even if it's 20%, that's a lot.
That's not a lot.
That's
80% of people are closer with their mamas than what they do, which I think is actually closer to. I think it's probably closer to 90.
It's just I just pulled the figure out, but in terms of number, I just made the.
Oh, I was like, I thought you were saying you. I was like, where'd you find that?
Hold on, Shan. This you a lie. I had an ex who mama was a crackhead and daddy was in prison all his life. He still went and bought that bitch a car and put money on his daddy books. Okay? They were negligent and he still looked out.
Yeah, I don't love my parents that much. Hey, y'all love y'all parents too much, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
If your mama wasn't out there on Skid Row selling you for smugs and all that, like people got some real terrible stories about their parents. If your mama wasn't on that type of time, keep your mama name out your mouth.
Listen,
don't mention her to us.
Hey, all I'm saying is the way y'all be quick to lie on y'all mamas, it will never cease to amaze me. Because I would never. I don't lie for or on my mama, to be honest with you. Nah, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't be lying for my mama in these spaces. I just don't be telling people shit about what my mama did because ain't none of y'all motherfucking business. You know what I'm saying? That's my mama. But and what I know about that woman is she raised me and she sacrificed a lot for me. That's what I know. I got my hangups and all that stuff and all that, whatever the fuck, right? But she raised me and she, you know what I'm saying? She did, you know, I would say whatever shortcomings she had, it was related to another nigga. It was related to some shit some man did to her. My daddy, it started with his ass. So what the fuck I look like coming up here today? Like, man, I mean, my daddy never whooped me, but that nigga also never was there.
And if she was gone all the time, it was because your whole ass daddy wasn't helping her enough.
That's what
because she shouldn't have had to work that much.
When I got older, when I saw that connection, y'all remember, you know that meme from The Wire when that nigga was like, oh, like that was the moment for me. Because I had my kid and I was like, imagine doing this shit on your own. Would you have the time to, and then the shit clicked. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. She like literally was doing the job of two people. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. And then she was just like tired a lot of times. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck want to go to practice and go to, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like she could have did better, but damn, nigga, she done work 12 hours. Who the fuck want to show up to her goddamn? Okay. Wow. All right. And I had to connect everything back to Pops. Everything connected back to Pops. It was like, but mom didn't do this for me. And then I thought about it and I was like, but wait, but if my dad was there, she wouldn't have had to work motherfucking 13 hours a day. He was giving the money. We would have, you know, even $400-500 a month, she probably been able to work 6, 7, 8 hours a day. She could have had a problem. Yeah, cool.
Mine was if my dad wasn't putting the rent money up his nose, we would still have somewhere to stay.
Yeah, you beat me. I ain't gonna hold you. You won. You got it.
There's something. There might be something like wrong with your line of thinking.
Okay. Sure.
What you mean? Red?
Well, Papa seems to like. Pop seems to bring everything. Like he seems to find a route, even if he has to build the road himself. He seems to find a route to everything.
That's called critical thinking, though. Y'all don't know how to do that. Y'all don't know how to use deductive reasoning. Like you put pieces together. That's how we learn. Things aren't just concrete. Sometimes they're abstract. So sometimes the way Pub is able to work through these things in his mind, it's what they use it in hospitals. Actually, it's called root cause analysis. Whenever an accident happens, they go to the root of the.
How do we get there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm big on that. You know, that's my whole thing. Be like, well, why is this actually happening? Like, I get that it's happening, but why is it happening at this rate? Like, I'm always curious about that. And then I think about it, and I'm like, oh, I can see that makes sense. Because I know that shit ain't just happening just because. Like I know that, like maybe I'm not saying like in no case, but I'm saying like the vast majority of the time, I know that that's not happening.
My issue is not the fact that you do a root cause analysis. My issue is the fact that it always seems to lead back to men in your eyes.
Yeah, it's always men. It's always men, bro. I'm sorry to tell you. It's always men, family.
I mean, that pothole in the road. Who did that? A man. He was cutting corners and he didn't finish filling it right. He was trying to get home and he fucked it up. And now my wheel bent. You see what I'm saying? A man did that. Y'all be talking about y'all out there building infrastructure, and the infrastructure fucked up the whole time. The call be coming from inside the construction site. Okay? Shit be crumbling. Left and right, crumbling. Bridges falling down. Manholes, people sliding in manholes. Who did that? A man.
Yeah, I just think that there's it's quite an issue the way that you guys think here. Because I mean, even the example you gave of a woman being abusive, you still you still ended up saying I would be more mad at the man for letting it happen than I would at the woman. Like you always find
if my father was there, yeah. No, if he wasn't there.
So you would make the man the bigger villain for somebody else's abuse.
Yeah.
Bigger villain.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that's a bit crazy?
Not at all.
Right. Well, all I can do is show you a mirror and let it's up. I mean, if you don't think there's anything wrong with that, then cool. That's fine.
If you ever thought you was better than public hoe, you ain't. And he doing the work, and you still ain't doing better than him. So please, with the sneak this.
I'm confused.
No, I'm not dissing it. I didn't come here to diss anyone. I don't.
Oh, let me ask you a question. So, if you were getting abused by somebody, by your mom, more than likely she got abused by somebody, correct?
So we're talking hypotheticals now, right?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, fine. If I was getting abused by my mom, she more than likely she was abused by someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we know it wasn't her mom?
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm just saying she got abused by somebody.
Go on.
Yeah. So the likelihood that she was getting abused by her mom versus her dad, it's more likely that she was getting abused by her mom, by her dad, if her dad was there.
If I'm getting abused by my mom, why is it more likely? Why can't she be also?
What?
If I was getting abused by my mom, right? Why is there an assumption that she was suddenly getting abused by her dad and not her mom?
Again, the likelihood, she could have been getting abused by both.
Yeah.
But the likelihood that she was getting abused by her father is higher than that she was getting abused by her mother.
I don't know about that.
Rich, you don't know about shit, though. You saying that doesn't mean anything to me.
But then,
like, what do you mean? I don't know about that. Of course you don't know about that. If you knew about it, we wouldn't be having this discussion because you would know already.
I think you're just trying to, force it down the path that, but it's fine. Go ahead.
I'm not trying to force it down a path. I'm just trying to help you understand. You don't want to understand. You think these things are isolated?
No, I'm not saying they're isolated. I'm just
okay.
Saying
you think that? Hold on. You think that abuse is isolated? You don't think abuse is isolated, correct?
No, I didn't say that. I don't think that at all.
Yeah. Typically, abuse is learned behavior. Typically, correct? Yeah, okay. Absolutely. The group of people who are responsible for the vast majority of abuse are men. Period. Oh God? Why does that make you say, "Oh God"?
It's just, you're forcing it.
What am I forcing a fucking a fact? What about?
Look, even if 60% of abuse was men,
it's not 60. It's way more than that.
I don't know. Look, I don't know, and I don't think you can actually, because a lot of abuse goes undetected anyway.
Sir, I promise you that whatever you guys think when you guys talk about it not being reported, it would be worse for men. If all the abuse in the whole world was actually reported, I think it's 90-10 right now, right? But it would drop from 90, it would go up 90-10, it would go up to 99-1. Like it wouldn't even be close. If all abuse was reported, I don't know why you guys act like when women abuse, it's not reported, it's underreported. more than when men abuse. Like, that's stupid. Why is that the assumption? When in reality, again, now let's be logical again. Who am I more afraid of when it comes to retaliation? A man or a woman? If a man does something wrong to me, right? I'm more afraid of the retaliation of that man and of the system, possibly, if I report that man. If a woman does something to me, I'm not worried about her doing anything to me personally. I might be afraid of the system. I might be afraid of society, how they view me, or whatever the case may be. But women and people who get abused by men, they have all of those same things, but then they also have the added threat of the man themselves doing something to them. So the likelihood, again, that you withhold abuse when you don't, that you would not report abuse from a man is way higher than of a woman. That don't even make no fucking sense. Of course, I don't want to tell a man. I don't want to tell on a man if he abused me. This motherfucker could kill me. This motherfucker could go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
on the contrary, it's the threat that will make you go to the police. It's the threat for protection.
no, sir. That's dumb.
If a man doesn't, if I don't feel,
Damn, that's so dumb. That you believe that is crazy.
it's not dumb.
The threat of violence is what will make you go to the police. Are you meant to? Hey, bro, you got to stop that. That's dumb.
That's what makes people go to the police.
That's the thing that'll stop you from going to the police. What the fuck? If somebody doesn't think about it, Rich. There is no threat of violence. There's no threat of retaliation. Why wouldn't you go to the police? What would stop you? Because you lazy? The fuck are you talking about? The thing that will stop you is the threat of violence.
No, it can be both ways. But if there's no threat, what am I going to the police for? For what? What am I going to gain from going to the police if there's no threat? If there's no threat from the perpetrator, sir, you want the perpetrator brought to justice. Why wouldn't you go to the police if you want justice? Because most people want justice, right? So you want to go to the police seeking justice. What would stop you from going to the police is the threat of retaliation. Don't get me wrong. I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand how, the threat of violence might make some people scared. But I also understand that the threat of violence can make people seek help also. Oh my God, bro. Okay. This is pointless. Valley said he bought you some fries. Now he a great dad. And if it said, in all cases, go get your kids, sir. Why is this so hard to understand? Stop making excuses. Men always making excuses for why they can't go get their babies. The mother made it hard on him. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what that woman did. Go get them babies. What the fuck that got to do with them kids? That's the only thing I don't be understanding. If I'm the kid and you tell me, oh, your mama made it hard on me to come and get you. Okay, I might be mad at her. I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be like, but nigga, so you just gave up? I was in danger. You just stopped. You were just like, nah, shit, your mama beat me. There was a route you could have went, daddy. The level of respect dropping far on that end, like quickly. I have no respect for you at that point. No respect. It's not. It ain't happening. Are y'all talking? I can't hear you. Shan, are you on mute? Or are you off mute?
No, I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
I'm at the playground, so.
Oh, okay, bet. Mm-hmm.
What's going on, y'all?
Not much, brother. What's happening?
Yeah, real quick. Just trying to understand your prompt. You're saying that well, I personally can't ascertain whether or not a woman has done it. But from what you hear a lot, social media and news or whatever, women, they won't tell the father, the biological father, that in fact the baby belongs to someone else. Is that what you're saying, that they don't do that?
How do they know that it belongs to somebody else is my question.
Yeah, when they do paternity tests like that, they find out that in fact
ain't what I asked
the
you.
actual child doesn't belong to them.
That's not what I asked you. How do the women know that the baby doesn't belong to them?
How do they know?
How do the women know?
They've been cheated.
Huh?
Yeah, they probably cheated.
So what?
Probably cheated. Whether the guy was in the military, he went away, so they, did their thing. Or if the guy's not in the military, the woman just.
Hold on, wait. That doesn't make sense, cool guy. The guy's in the military. He's not even at home. She sleeps with some dude. He's gone on deployment for 90 days. He comes back and she's 3 months pregnant. He knows it's not his. What the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't make sense.
I'm just saying there's various
No. The scenario has to make sense. So give me another scenario that doesn't make sense.
It does make sense because the fact is it could have been a short tour. Like certain people do reserves. I'm not talking about someone's been away for years. I'm just saying that there are various circumstances. That was just one of them. Before you try to misprice and belittle a statement, just ask a question for clarification. It's very rude of you to try to shoot something out of the sky before you understand.
Somebody need all that. Get to your point.
Right? So, and I'm not speaking to you, my lady, but I appreciate your insight.
I don't care. I was speaking to you.
Okay, well, I'm not listening because I'm speaking to him. But this is the thing. When we deal with these particular situations, it's varied, right? But the evidence presents itself because you hear this a lot. A guy decides to do a DNA test and he finds out the kid isn't his. So I don't, like I said, I can't quite understand.
How does that prove? Hold on. This is why I said what I said. Because when I refuted what you said with logic, you haven't actually addressed what you said. Make it make sense. Again, the only way for it to happen is if two men or multiple men sleep with the woman within, like I've been calling it, the window of conception, right? If you're outside of that window, then you would know. Unless you're a dummy and you don't know, like it's only a certain amount of time that it would actually work. So if I slept with my wife, if the last time I slept with my wife was in January, she gets pregnant in March. I know that ain't my fucking baby, cool, okay? That's my point.
Yeah, but you see, we're actually addressing different points. That's the problem. But yet I'm not calling your points.
Sir, how are we addressing different points? That's the point you tried to make, cool, okay? Cool, okay. Cool, okay. You tried to make that point when you brought up the cool, okay. Hold on, bro. Stop. You tried to make that point initially. And that's why I was saying it didn't make any sense. Because I was like, basically what I'm saying is the man would know he's not the daddy. I would know I'm not the daddy. Unless you're a dummy, how wouldn't you know you're not the daddy?
And that was not the point I was
making. Okay, so what point were you making when you brought that up?
The point I'm trying to make is, this is the point I made, and I'm going to make it again. This is the third time I'm making it. Here you have sex with your wife tonight.
Mm-hmm.
She goes out and she has sex with someone else.
Exactly.
You don't know about.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's what sir, I already said that. You were the one who said, all right, cool, okay, thank you. Now we're on the same page. So let's say, no. So back to the original point. I have sex with my wife tonight. She has sex with the dude tomorrow, today, next week, whatever, right? So it's within the window of conception, correct? Now, just because she cheated on me doesn't mean that the baby is the other guy's. So she could still assume the baby is mine. Why wouldn't she assume that?
Of course.
Cool. We go on, we have a baby. Everything's everything. Now, if come to find out at some point in time, we go check the baby for, we go check paternity or whatever on the baby, and it ain't my baby, she didn't commit paternity fraud because she really thought it was my baby.
Oh, I see. That's how you define that situation.
Yeah, she has to know before, she has to know. She has to know, bro.
I know. Hold on.
And even then, you can't know.
So the way you're defining it is
by its definition.
No harm. It's like no harm, no foul. Meaning, if no one ever goes and gets the DNA, she's just going to automatically assume it's hers. I think that's very foolish. That's ridiculous. That's asinine. That's ludicrous. Because the thing is, here she is having this child. Obviously, if she's an intelligent woman, she's going to say, "Wow, you know what? I had sex with what's his name? Public,
mm-hmm.
right? and I had sex with the other guy, and she's gonna know the possibility.
Who is the other guy?
Well, hold on. There's a possibility.
Can I know who the other guy is, Cool Guy? Can you tell me?
You just use the window of opportunity or the window of conception. It's
Hold on, brother. Cool Guy, can you tell me who the other guy is?
Whoever she has sex with.
I mean, but who is he though?
It could be anyone.
I need them. You got to make it believable for me. Who is he?
No, what I'm saying. Let's not use you. I'm just saying any man who has
a she ain't sleeping with anybody, nigga. I gotta. You gotta make.
It's not gonna take long. It's an easy point. And so, by in essence, if she's unfaithful and she has sex with someone else, right? Automatically, she's gonna assume when she gets pregnant, she's gonna say, "Wow, you know what?" If she's a thinking human being, she's gonna say, "Wow, you know what? I did have it with Jimmy, and I also had it with Johnny. Now I really don't know who it is, but of course she's not gonna say nothing. Why would she? And then when she has this baby, is she gonna say something? Of course she would. But then years later, when this man says, when he sees a lot of TikTok or he hears a lot of stuff, he realizes, yo, I need to take a test. I need to get a DNA with my child. And I would advocate every single man. I don't care how much sweet, how godly, how whatever a woman is, you take that DNA test.
That still wouldn't prove fraud. So are you familiar? What is fraud then? What are you categorizing as fraud?
Oh, well, my assessment of categorizing fraud is anyone who implements deception. So fraud, deception is inherent in fraud. So by virtue of the fact that this woman knows the possibility is absolutely possible, not only possible, very probable.
That's very redundant.
No, because possibility and probability are two different things. So the fact is, it necessitates her, okay, to disclose that. Listen, baby, in a moment of weakness, you know, I did this.
Yeah, we already did this. Okay, I don't disagree with you. I don't think that is immoral of her to not tell you. I agree. She should tell you, but it's not fraud.
Okay, so I agree. This is the first time I hear you say you agree. Very good.
Yeah, it's not. But that's not fraud.
Okay, what is fraud? Let me look it up while you tell me.
Yeah, I look. God damn it! There we go. Cool. Okay, that's what I love that type of shit. Go ahead, BBG. Hold on. Let me read this. Clarice said. He said. Hold on. Clarice said. He said, "Miss what? Open the schools." He said, "Miss Prize." I didn't know what that meant either. The lady who used to do my mama's hair when I was growing up, her name was Miss Price, and it reminded me of her, but I didn't know if he was talking about Miss Price. Rest in peace. Miss Price was the shit. Her salon used to be packed every week. And I spent many days in there. It was cool. It was on the east side, it was on Atlantic. I remember. It was on like Atlantic and I can't remember the cross street, but yeah, I remember that. Go ahead, BBG.
Wow. I feel a little bit dumber now. Because I don't even understand what the point of that was, especially like when you're talking about paternity fraud specifically, and you're using like this window of conception to try to figure out who is who. It definitely is not. She's being immoral, but she is not committing fraud, because the reality is there's still a chance that either of those men are the father. Right?
That's what I was trying to say.
there's still a chance. So who be of benefit to that? You know what I mean? Because let's say that she, has sleep with Johnny, which is a super gross name, but let's say that she has slept with this man and she has told her husband and makes the assumption that he is the father. Mm-hmm. Is that fraud then? Because now she's making the assumption that the other guy is the father. Let's say she finds out that, okay, no, the husband actually is the dad. Like,
that's what I said earlier, BBG. I was like, that scenario is played out, I'm sure, I think it's Billy's baby and it's really fucking Craig's, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and then she get it tested and then she's wrong. Like, what the fuck? If there's a chance either way, how can it be fraud? That's all I've been trying to figure out. I'm not understanding.
It's very oddly circular.
If there's a chance.
It's very odd.
Can I ask you a question? The thing is, if
wait for you, he didn't get this.
He didn't.
And maybe I'm going to be explaining or comparing.
Honestly, I wish that y'all would just sort of stand on what it is you're saying matter-of-factly,
Mhm.
than asking for bogus consent. Hold on. And then asking for bogus consent to ask a question. Please don't ask me questions.
Yeah, just say
I
it.
will answer them with sarcasm.
Mhm. Go ahead, we
No,
listening.
it's okay, but so no, I want to respect her. Can I ask you the
You
question,
didn't.
or can I? Because
But you already started answering the question. Just ask the question. Just ask it.
I want to ask her. Hold on, no, because I want to respect her. I'm a respectful person. So listen, this is the thing. This is what the definition says. It says fraud in its simplest form is deception, practice for personal gain or to harm others. It involves intentionally misleading someone to induce them to part with something of value or to surrender a legal right. Fraud can manifest in various forms, including financial fraud, consumer fraud, and identity fraud, and can be both a civil and criminal offense. All right, and it goes on, deception.
The more you read this, the less it sounds like this is like paternity fraud doesn't even make sense. Like the statement of it doesn't make sense.
Fraud always involves misleading someone or making a false representation. Okay, intent. The perpetrator must intend to deceive the victim and benefit from it. Material fact. The false representation must relate to a significant fact that is important to the transaction or situation.
I would take the same amount of time with book.
I love how he's reading it to us as if we didn't know the definition.
As if we don't know the definition. As if that doesn't prove the point. Because again,
the point ain't been proven.
When we're talking about
be so rude and show some type of discipline.
Hold on. Let her finish.
That she is trying to mislead this man. If the intent is that she's trying to mislead this man, then that does not classify as fraud if she genuinely thought that he was the father.
Can I finish?
Or hold on, wait, not even that, BBG. What if she just wasn't sure?
Literally.
What if she just wasn't sure?
Intent is subjective.
Intent is extremely subjective. And it's really hard to prove it. And that's what I've been screaming this whole time. The only way, and I'll say this again, slowly, the only way to prove that she committed fraud would be if she openly admits it. Outside of that, there's no chance in hell you can prove it. None. She's the only person that can prove it. I swear, I promise you.
Yes, she's the only person that could confess it. In other words,
no, prove it. She's the only person that can prove it.
No, she cannot be the only person to prove it. Because the fact is, if here's a man who, in good faith, decides that he's a child with a woman, only her, and then here's a baby is produced, in his mind, he assumed that's his baby. For her not to tell him that she also engaged in other situations that might have actually
that doesn't prove her intent, Cool K. And here's the thing, and here's why I don't like going around too, like letting y'all talk too much, because again, that doesn't refute what I just said. What I said was the only way for you to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that she intended to do this would be if she said it out loud, because anything else, like BBG just pointed out, would be an assumption. You can assume that's what she did. You can logically assume it too. I'm not even saying it would be irrational to assume it. I'm just saying you couldn't prove it. That's all I'm telling you. You can't prove it unless the woman herself says, yep, this is what I had a plan. I slept with two dudes for this reason. This dude I didn't want to have a baby by, but this motherfucker had money, and they have to lay it all out for you. That's it.
And if you honestly, Pub, you know that this is true because of the fact that there are many other crimes that when you start bringing in intent, it makes it very, very hard to prove. You cannot prove intent. It's
hard to prove great.
First degree murder is very hard to prove.
It's super hard to prove first degree murder.
That's why usually people end up getting charged.
Second, third, yep, manslaughter, yep. Second, what's it called? Premeditated? Tough.
It's very
tough.
Very hard to prove.
Tough.
It is very hard to prove. So when you're talking about trying to prove that a woman intentionally, because it's not just a matter of paternity fraud, if it were being proved, if it were being tried in a court of law, would go through the same level of scrutiny as first degree. And you would also have to prove that this woman intentionally looped you into a relationship with the intent to be impregnated by somebody else and force you to be the father. Because again, if we talking about people slipping up and and cheating or whatever, which you don't happens. But nevertheless, if you're talking about people who are in a relationship but the intent wasn't to cheat and they end up cheating and a baby is produced or something else is produced, there will be a great many men in prison. Because again, you could also apply that to STDs or STIs. You could also apply that to men who have outside babies within their relationship. So that's a lot of the reason, like when you're trying to prove intent, especially when it comes to paternity fraud, I think that it is, I ain't gonna lie, I think it's a cop-out for men to try to have something to blame women for, because it's very hard to blame women for a lot of things. Because the majority of these things are happening at the hands of men. But also because if you start charging people for paternity fraud and because they are intentionally being in relationships with people with whom they want to manipulate, you niggas finna be up under the jail.
That's for sure. Rita said, hold on, wait.
Hold on, let him read the super
Hold on, brother.
Let him read the
Brother,
super chat.
come on. Rita said, this is why the Texas A&M Law Review said paternity fraud was just a moral panic born out of the men's rights movement. Valley says, did every woman you slept with get pregnant? I think she's talking to Cool K.
I'm going on 5 years celibate, so I doubt anyone.
God, did at the IN before that though.
But anyway, this is what I would like to know though. So the focus, okay, the operative word you guys are using is always the intent. So I guess you would agree then if a woman or a man who has AIDS, they still have sex unprotected, and the other person catches it, they could say, hey, that wasn't my intention. I just wanted to have fun.
Yeah, you have to prove intent. You have to prove intent. So you know that you have, it would be like this. Right. It would be more like, let's say somebody had undetectable, untransmittable, HIV, right? And then they slept with the person and unprotected. And they didn't tell them beforehand, but they slept with the person, and then the person got HIV. They didn't intend for the person to get HIV, though the person did get HIV. I'm just saying in this case, let's say I'm saying their blood work showed that they're undetectable, but somehow they gave it to them, whatever.
That is crazy.
Right? They didn't intend to give the person HIV. They didn't knowingly give it to them.
Yeah, but technically, just by virtue.
But morally, should they, hold on. But morally, could they have told the person, hey, I'm disclosing my status. I have it, but it's untransmittable, undetectable, or whatever, just to get that person, the full complete scope. Yeah, absolutely, they should.
From what I understand, and don't hold me to this because, like I said, I
will.
Do great research. I don't do great research like yourself. But what I did hear though is that somebody does have sex with someone without disclosing that they have something like AIDS, right? Something like a death illness. They will go to jail for attempt murder. Is that correct?
No, all the time, no.
It's hard to again. It's so hard to prove that you did it. That's like, did you not just hear BBG just said about Smurder 1? Imagine trying to prove Smurder 1.
Yeah,
but with it, but through the form of a STD. Like what? That shit is damn near. That shit is damn near impossible.
Depending on the state you're in, if you do not disclose it, it's automatically a case of attempt murder.
What state is that?
I'm not sure.
Delusion.
Exactly, because those states don't exist.
Delusion.
That's what I said. Again, when we're talking about intent, you're talking about what it is you're doing on purpose. You are talking about something that you have malicious. I'm glad somebody used that word in the comments. Malicious intent. And again, even in cases where people do know their status, you don't know if you don't have a paper that says that I might get pregnant by another man.
Yep.
There is no slip for that.
So
hold on. Okay. Hold on.
Calm down.
Hold on.
I'm calm.
Hold on. Let her finish.
No, I'm always cool.
Okay. Let her finish.
when you take an HIV test and you find out your status, from that point on, you know your status. So if you have unprotected sex with someone else, you know that
Forever.
there's a large possibility that you can give them the virus. You know that without a shadow of a doubt. It's not the same thing with paternity at all whatsoever.
And you know why I like bringing that up though, BBG? Why I do like comparing it to the STDs, because it's extremely difficult to do it even with that. So you know it's fucking impossible to do it with paternity. Like it's fucking damn, it's impossible. Don't even make sense.
Let me make sure I understand. So you're saying that a person who knows 100% unequivocally, there is no doubt whatsoever, he has AIDS. He could actually, pass it on to someone. Someone could die from this. If he now decides to go and have sex with someone without telling them, are you saying that the law says, oh no, it's okay, there was no intent?
That's not a crime. That's it. You have to protect yourself, brother.
I gotta look this up because I remember
you definitely should look this up. How do you think? Wait. Hold on, Cool K. Hold on. Do you think that how many people would be in prison right now if that were true?
How do you know they're not in prison?
They're not. Our prison would be flooded with them.
I watch a lot of forensic files.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Let me explain something.
Oh my God. Come on, bro.
I think it's Texas where it's considered attempted murder.
That's what I said. And somebody laughed me.
Knowing STDs and a person, like for instance, the herpes or HIV.
Yeah. Incurable, some incurable shit. Yeah.
There's legislation around that, but I'm not sure which state, but it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, I told you. See, listen, like I said,
you see how Kay came to class with her notes and she understood what state she was talking about.
Yeah, but you were saying that it doesn't exist. So
about how when we asked you, where does this exist, you said you don't know. Very undemure. Come prepared. That's
no, I don't need to come to.
You're not actually
just having fun.
Hold on, wait.
You said that you were guessing,
but wait,
and now you're upset that we clocked you on guessing.
But wait, I gotta. Oh wait, but cool, K. What I'm saying is this though. Cool, it's hold on.
I made it very clear.
Okay, hold on, brother. I got you. So what I'm saying is cool. So it's illegal in some states. My point is, it still goes to my point. It's incredibly hard to prove that a person intentionally try to give you a fucking incurable disease.
I don't think you
even if they know they have it, that doesn't automatically prove that they were knowingly trying to give it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
my brother, I don't think you're listening very.
I'm listening to you, but hold on. In this moment, I don't want to listen to you.
Hold on, I made it very clear.
Telling me to hold on is crazy. Valley said, "What if?" Hold on, Val. Hold on, Cool K. Please don't get dropped. Valley said, "What if she had protected Smex with the other man?" Valley said, "Why you keep saying she, pub? I'm a nigga." Oh, my bad. Oh, because it's my bad, Valley. My bad. Oh man, that's my fault. Damn, that's crazy. They clocked me. My bad. Dorothy said, oh, never mind. See, I read it slow. My bad. I almost did it. Hold on. What's the next one? Rad Escape said, Cool K, use a dummy, bitch. Oh man. The tatted.
Hold y'all, but my mama said it sound like Cool K learned the words.
That's good. I love that for him.
Use them all.
The tatted black guy that said, Lane K, there are dictionary apps for a reason. She called that nigga Lane K. Ali said, who in here got a big booty so Cool K could cross the street? Get your goofy ass on, weird ass nigga. Damn. I do remember that nigga saying he couldn't see a big booty. He had to walk across the street. I said, damn, brother. The tatted black guy that said, Lane K doesn't know what assumption, intent, or subjective means. You're just speaking to reply, not to comprehend, and it shows. Clock it. Clock it. Teresa said he worried about fraud and plummeting fertility drop. Hold on. He worried about fraud and plummeting fertility drop. All right, they put 2 on his head. All right, go ahead, Cool K. We listening.
My mic, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Well, you know, when Jesus walked the earth, they hated him too. So I guess I'm.
Oh my God.
But what I wanted to say is real quick. So it's funny that everyone was jumping on me saying, "Oh, there's no law like that. There's nothing like that." But then when it comes out that there is, now it's like,
all right, you got it. Okay, we got it.
So that's really interesting.
Yep, cool.
It
Now,
wasn't everybody, it was me, and I still
That's why you stop regurgitating the stuff you hear on the internet and actually do research. That's what they were calling you out about. Like, stop being so quick to hop in the box and say stuff that you heard somebody else say, and actually do your research.
because I still haven't understand it. I still don't understand the point, but that's me.
I appreciate you caring about my end.
I don't know who. Hey, somebody gifted Rich. Who the hell gave Rich all these coins, man? Make sure y'all gifting the whole panel, though. I don't give a fuck, but make sure you gifting the whole panel. That's crazy work. Go ahead, Rich. I definitely want to get your take on this.
On the whole, yeah, I'm kind of not in it. Like, I think there's a bit of grey area there. So I think the best way is for everybody to treat everyone like the other person is, got something, unless you know otherwise. And that's
what do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, look, if everybody treated everyone like they were potentially infected with something, then we all wouldn't have to worry so much about.
Yeah.
So why when women ask y'all to put on protection, y'all get mad?
That may not be him. I don't know.
Well, I would say that no one should have sex until they're married, and make sure before they get married they get tested. That's the solution to this whole human race. But nobody's gonna follow that.
I agree.
No discipline.
That's because that doesn't work. That's why.
It doesn't work because no one does it.
No, that does nothing. There are a great many women who have HIV based on the fact that their only partners were their husband. They've been married 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Reese said, didn't your mama tell you not to repeat all you hear?
Yeah, so she's correct on that someone could wait to get married, and then the guy messes around, or the woman. It goes both ways. Somebody did something stupid, and sure enough, they bring it home. So yes, that is definitely a reality that occurs. But I'm saying, as for the pregnancy situation, the single mom situation, the baby daddy situation, all that wickedness, if people just learn how to keep their thing in their pants, the guys need to, and guys are the leaders, so what they need to do, they need to be the ones to say, no, I'm not going to do anything. So for people who say, yeah, guys are the fault, I agree with that. I think if the man truly is the leader, then he should lead in celibacy or abstinence. He should be the one to say, no, I'm not going to do anything until I get married. But unfortunately, a lot of guys are weak. They don't have the discipline. So the thing is, and the problem I see.
What's the use in getting married if you're going to cheat? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's not, getting married is not the point. It's not about being married. It's about having integrity. If more men had integrity, then it wouldn't be so prevalent, right? But not enough men have integrity. So stop talking about marriage, because that's not what it's about. You had sex before you got married, and now you telling people don't have sex before they get married. Like, shit, y'all are weird.
Nigga, is you abstaining? Are you a virgin?
No, he not.
Well, I'm abstaining.
But I'm just saying, are you?
He got
without staying.
No, he got no. You not made new again, brother. Your wholeness has not been deleted.
Well,
and he got ED now, so now he want to tell everybody else to wait until they marry. Like, what the fuck?
Well, let's put it like this. If today I wanted to have massive women, I can. I'm a cool looking dude. I have intellect. I'm a nice guy. Women love me.
Cool looking dude.
Let's put it like this. Back in my womanizing days, it wasn't a problem to get women. It's not that serious. The reason I don't do anything now is the fact that I'm honoring God. I have made a commitment to honor the King of Heaven's armies. So I don't do anything. So the fact is, and I know the secret like I said, for the society, is that people need to control their libidos.
God worried about your wee-wee?
You funny, man. Nah, nobody's worried.
God somewhere like, how I got in it?
Yeah. So
That's, like, you niggas really be having God confused. I really believe that.
do you believe in God, my lady?
No, we don't care. Nobody cares.
You believe in him.
No, I'm asking you.
No, we not. No. Don't care. Don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Get your bell and ring that motherfucker on the street corner and talk about Jesus all day, my guy. Go do that shit somewhere else. I don't care.
They bring it up, I respond. That's all.
You've been bringing it up. They didn't bring it up. You've been bringing it up. You did, bro.
You said you wanted a toy soldier in God's army or
Yep, that's what you said.
What I said was the solution for the society is if everyone do not have
Nah, we heard that, but you said what BPG says. Stop trying to lie to us. Y'all so weird. Ashley said, K Diddy God said, you a dummy, bitch.
Yeah, well, fools make fun at sin, so I understand. And there's another parable that's pretty good, and it says,
no, please don't. Pub, can I just say really quickly?
If you spot up before listening to the facts,
terrible parables.
Okay, please pause. Pub, this is a and B from YouTube. Your favorite.
Oh, hey, what up? What up? What's good with you? Okay, what's happening?
Good and yourself?
Chilling.
Yeah,
good to see you.
This my TikTok John. I actually came up to just kind of clue you in on. I'm glad Cool K jumped in the box. Rich and Cool K are a special kind of copper pus-filled maggots.
Damn.
They have a certain way about them that they would be a special subject that I would take to a black site and I would dissect the shit out of them because their logic is it's just so pedestrian. It is so minuscule, the way they try to piece things together. And when you are in good faith giving them information, and then he's always, oh no. But let me just say, for the benefit of Rich's 5th grade education, I want to get something that just remotely clear. Sometimes you have to hold these MFers to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
When women are generally within their ovulation window, as public adequately stated it, a woman does not know. There is no way in this universe, the Milky Way, the one we live in, that she knows exactly when she has gotten pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
We have an inkling about certain things, but no woman, she can give me the Powerball numbers, okay? There's no way for a woman to know when that has occurred. So if you're the first man or the 5th man, you could end up being the 3rd man and you be the Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the Pappy.
Mm-hmm.
She has no way of knowing that. So you sitting up here with this infinitesimal stupidity. Oh, well, see, but if she got with Tony after me, then she know it's Tony's. If she got with Leroy before me, then she know it. She doesn't fucking know. How are you going? Who the hell are you? So you know how ovulation works. They make me so sick. They hate women so much. You are sitting up here telling me how a woman's ovulation works, and you don't even know how you work. But you can tell me A to Z how a woman's ovulation works.
Hey, some of these niggas don't work.
Know how many days they don't have a clue. You don't even know when you're.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Some niggas don't work though. Like that's.
Hold on a second.
You don't even know when you're about to shoot. How you going? You about to shoot? You about to shoot the club up? You don't even know. 2 seconds in, you shooting the club up. But you're gonna tell me how ovulation works. You're gonna tell me how who's running to the finish line. You don't know. So stop. Thank you.
So when you,
I didn't want to muddy it up, but a good thing for Mr. Rich is there's a program called The Sexes. It is a UK gentleman. His first name is Desmond. You can look it up on YouTube. I got both. It's like a 4-hour program. And the things he explains to you about semen and different functions of semen, they all don't go They all don't procreate eggs. They do all sorts of strange things. But you're going to tell me you know which one did it. Listen, I would take you to a black site and you listen. Don't make me take you to Guantanamo. Let me just be clear. Don't make me put you on the Interpol watch list because you are something special. I would put you on the Interpol watch list for sure. For sure.
Go.
You are on the Interpol watch list.
Let
Look at him.
no wait, hold on.
You can't
Hold
say
on.
anything to me.
Hold on.
Okay, fair enough.
Rich was about to respond. Go ahead, Rich.
I just can't believe you came up here and had the audacity to call me dumb and then go on some weird.
You are dumb.
Nothing that I said. Okay, so first
because you're too dumb.
Are you gonna let me speak or not?
Go ahead, Rich.
Okay, so first of all, right? That claim you made, nobody claimed to know who is the father and who isn't. It is the mere fact that you don't know. That means you cannot tell somebody you are the father.
You claim he knows.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. I never claimed that she knew. What I said was
what? Of course you claimed that.
Okay, listen. Okay,
that's the whole point. If she doesn't know, then we don't. Then there's no such thing as fraud.
No, because you've forgotten already. Okay, let me explain. Since everybody's forgotten, right?
See,
let me finish. I never said that she knew. I said the mere fact that she doesn't know means that she cannot categorically tell somebody you are the father. So if she tells someone you're the father when she doesn't know, that means she is speaking. She is not being truthful.
Okay.
The only way, as discussed, the only way she could know is if that's the only person she slept with. So that's the only way she could possibly know. So if that's not the case, and she actually doesn't know, she cannot. For her to tell someone you are the father when she doesn't know is an untruth. That's what I said, and I can't believe that you listened.
No, that is not the point you made, sir.
That is exactly the point made.
That is not the point you made, sir. In my master's in national security, in my bachelor's in counterintelligence,
master's has got
in my 100% in interrogation notes and behavioral tactics says that that's not the point that you made, sir.
It's not.
So sorry for you, sir. I do this all day with terror suspects, sir. That is not what you said.
I couldn't care less. That's got nothing to do with it.
And I couldn't care less that you lied.
Wait. Okay. So what was your point then? Because I don't understand the point then.
Just like he claimed the mother did this, and then 7 years later, how come you are always 7 years later, somebody sneaking to the clinic to find out why you didn't do it year one? Why you didn't do it year two? Why you didn't do it year three? Why is it always 5, 7 years later you want to now sneak and find out whether or not the baby yours?
He said no. AB, he didn't say he did. He said his auntie, who he called a pit bull, did it.
Supposedly.
Allegedly, which is weird. Like that somebody that ain't the parent was swabbed the mouth and how wouldn't your and how wouldn't your brother know that was he had to swab his mouth too?
Because generally there has to be a chain of custody. So I don't see again.
No. Hold on, wait. He's saying the aunt did it unbeknownst to the brother, right? But so you have to swab the mouth. So did she swab his mouth and didn't tell him what it was for?
Maybe she swabbed.
Maybe lying.
There has to be a chain of custody with the sample.
Lying.
To ensure that it is. Listen, there has to be a chain of custody with the sample to ensure that it was actually your brother's DNA.
Oh, they said you can use hair. Okay. I thought they had to swab. They said you can use hair.
Chain of custody.
Fuck it. He wasn't gonna say that though.
It's his brother's hair and not his friend's hair. I've caught cases where men are using their friend's hair and their friend's toothbrushes just to get out of paying child support. But no, it's not my baby.
But wait.
It was your friend's sample.
But if they're testing it, wait, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Your aunt obviously wasn't doing it through the court. She just bought a test kit from a store and did it.
No, he didn't know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if she did it through that way, you can use hair in those?
No.
No, I thought those would be swabs.
Saliva.
Yeah, I thought those would be saliva. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that was saliva. So yeah, if you're doing it through that way, if you're doing it through the the salivary glands, then how could it be that that your brother or your cousin got tested and didn't know?
I don't know the exact details.
Because that's a lie.
No, it's not a lie.
That's a lie.
That's why the second part of it is you guys lie and say that you see it every day, or that you personally know of it and you actually don't. Because if you don't know the outs and ends of that test from start to finish, you don't know.
No, it's not the kind of thing.
You're trying to cape for problematic ass men, and you make me sick.
And I've heard cases where men and their friends have swapped each other's urine and each other's.
Oh, easily. No, I know for sure that. Yeah, but I'm saying, but I know, but what I'm saying is if it wasn't court ordered, then they wouldn't have a reason to do that. You see what I'm saying? But
no, exactly. But I've had some, even with court ordered, they got their when they had to go in for the testing on the same day.
Yeah,
they would meet up with someone when they're going into the bathroom.
Oh, no doubt. They try to swap. Yeah, 100%.
They could swap the tissue.
Yeah, 100%. I know that's happening. Yeah, 100%. Niggas is doing that. Ain't no, if they could get away with it, they're attempting to do that. No doubt about it.
Oh, they will.
No doubt about it.
But see, and that's how you catch the with second, third-hand information. Oh, my auntie, sister, cousin, brother told me this.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't. Stop lying.
Then nobody tell you that, bro. Go ahead, cool guy.
I would say, this is just what I would put forth. I think it should be mandatory. It should be a law that as soon as a baby is born.
Yeah, they did that in another state. It was a waste of money. They did that in another country. It was a waste of money.
Why was it a waste of money?
Because I don't think you guys understand that even right now, right? When we talk about paternity fraud, the concept of it, I'm saying the way that men interpret it, right? They go, okay, 30-40% of people who get tested come to find out the baby's not the man's or whatever. And I go, okay, I understand. We always had the same discussion. I go, that's because there's a suspicion, the same way with Rich's aunt, allegedly, right? Let's say for this moment, she suspected that the baby wasn't her son's. That's why she did it. She had, if that wasn't the case, nobody would have ever checked the baby, right? Cool. So it's usually under suspicion or court order that a person is tested. So it would make sense that the number would be 30-40%. That's extremely high, right? That doesn't mean that if you tested everybody, that it would be 30 or 40%. And in all actuality, the number would plummet. And if it's at 0.3% now, it would be at 0.0000000000001% if you tested everybody. So therefore, it would be a waste of fucking money. That's why they don't do it. It's a waste of money. You got to think about how backlogged laboratories would be. Because you got to send that. All that shit going to similar places that's doing DNA testing for.
How long is the process? How long does the process last?
Weeks?
That's not even a relevant question. What the relevant question? Wait. The more relevant statement is.
Hold on, I was speaking.
Wait. If you knew anything,
you know how long it takes.
I'm a whole. Wait.
Go ahead, Kay.
Part of nurse out here, okay? Police. I see paternity and all that stuff all the time.
You have her relax for a second.
No.
First of all, I'm trying to tell police me. What the fuck?
She talking. Go ahead, Kay.
So my point is, if y'all knew how anything.
Kay, just stop, bro. Just let her finish. She's answering the question.
If y'all knew how anything in the hospital worked, if you enter a hospital and me and public, we go together. I'm pregnant, but we ain't married. Automatically, they are going to give public the option when we sign for a birth certificate to sign an affidavit of paternity. If at that time he has any doubts, he has the right to say, I'm going to wait on this. We can get a DNA test, blah, 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 before signing that affidavit. The affidavit of paternity says that you don't have any doubts that this is your child. Thus, you are willing to waive your right to a DNA test at that time and put your name on the birth certificate. So y'all will be like, so this whole idea of, it should be mandatory when a woman has a baby, every man get tested. Y'all know y'all got a fucking option.
Yeah, men. Go ahead, Rick.
The only point I would make is that, like you said, you have to have the doubt first in order for you to do that.
No. But wait, hold on.
I'm not saying it should be.
Are you not saying that it shouldn't be mandatory? Because she's speaking in response to what Cool K is saying. Yeah. She's saying that there is an option for any man at, you know, when the baby is or whatever, to get the baby tested. But men are choosing not to get the baby tested. That's the point.
Yeah, but the reason so there's no doubt in our mind that there's men walking around like raising someone else's kids. It happens, right? So just because you don't doubt your wife, it doesn't mean that there isn't a reason for you to doubt. It just means you don't know, right? So I'm not saying it should be mandatory. I'm not saying it should be mandatory, but I'm saying just the mere fact that a man thinks that it's his child and doesn't want to get a paternity test, it doesn't mean that that's his child. It might not be. What I'm saying,
the paternity thing is so useless in so many ways. People saying it should automatically be done. We should automatically be doing the test. Sir, that costs money. That's a waste of resources. It doesn't make sense. You would have to allocate funds, and then you would also have to build an infrastructure just to do paternity tests, because you couldn't send it to, Star Corp Diagnostics that's running fucking tests for more important things on the daily.
Just look little.
Yeah, I look really little. I understand. Look, I totally understand your point. I just think it would. Yeah, look, I understand your point. I'm not saying it should be mandatory, but I just think it takes away, because obviously, without a doubt, right? If you have a baby, right, and then you elect to have a paternity test, that could cause issues in your marriage, right? So it takes away.
It's not. I'm so tired. Again. Listen to what I'm saying. Somebody just put it. I was just about to say it. Grape kits are untested right now. You see what I'm saying? Same process. Testing the grape kit, testing for the DNA, like for two people, of another person. Okay. Grape kits are untested right now. We are sitting here talking about we should make it mandatory to test for paternity, when at the end of the day, the only fucking thing paternity fraud does, the only harm it causes, is it hurts that man's feelings. And I really got to be honest about that. And I'm not saying that your feelings don't matter, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, paternity fraud literally only hurts the man's feelings, nothing else.
That's wild. That's a wild take. Okay.
That's a wild take.
That's
a reality.
Reason why it's not going to become mandatory, because within the same
thing.
Within the same areas, let's just say, quote unquote, people want to make it mandatory. Within the same areas, everybody's making it mandatory. That's when you're going to start pinging on the same man fathering 6-7 kids, because now we got your DNA. You're going to start popping up for more children than the woman you was in there for.
And those great kids will start
those great kids going to start popping up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you giving me this DNA. So now you'll start popping up, because men are lazy and they're lazy cheaters. So when they cheat,
I don't know why
the woman you had a baby with across town, now you're going to pop up for her baby. So now she don't have to go make the court to get her child support, make you go on and get a DNA test. Thank you. Thank you for giving that to us voluntarily. I appreciate that.
Yeah, look.
So yeah, let's make that mandatory.
Look, I agree that it's impractical, right? And
no, it's not.
Men don't want, basically, men don't really want DNA. What they want to do is they want to keep acting like paternity fraud is an issue and keep fucking pussyfooting back and forth like, oh, we should test it all. See, now y'all gonna be in trouble, you women, when in reality, if you tested everybody, like I said, the numbers would drop. You would see how stupid men are for believing it. But what would go up is the rate, the solving of crimes would go up. Yeah. So I'm for it in that regard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against testing everybody. I'm really not. I'm just saying, I think we have bigger fish to fry if all we're going to do is test for paternity. Now, if you're going to test for paternity, and Shan mentioned this the other day, if you're going to test for paternity, and every time you test for paternity, you put every man's DNA in the CODIS. If that's what you're going to do, then let's run it. Let's run it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I
think that there are men who are still very in denial about why it is men don't want their DNA in the system, and what his girl said was absolutely true. It's not just the fact that they'll be finding out that they have fathered children all across the land, but it's also that those great kids will start getting solved. It's also that a lot of crime in general will start to get. You talking about murder? You talking about abuse cases where children have been sexually abused,
robberies.
The fathers of children will start to pop up. Like not just the children that they fathered, but the children that they were fathering with children, with very young girls. You'll start to see those answers those questions getting answered based on men putting their DNA into the system, and a lot of them don't want to do that because, especially if you have mandatory DNA testing, there are many more men who are going into hospitals and delivery rooms with women of whom they know they have impregnated, that they play the game of dodging child support because they like, I think I talked about this before, they like the idea of controlling when, where, how, who. So as long as they're not in the system, they can control how she has access to his resources because he can always, pull that back whenever he desires. If he is in the system and he's automatically on child support, he's automatically tested for paternity, and they find out that kid is his, guess what also is automatic? The way that you are financially responsible for that child is also automatic. And especially because you have volunteered your information, your DNA, and let's be honest, go ahead, volunteer your DNA, start volunteering your fingerprints too. So when it's time for them to look for you, to pay for those kids that you swear wasn't yours and then you found out they were, it makes life much easier. Because when you're trying to switch from job to job to job to evade child support, it's much easier for them to figure out where you are when you're trying to hide from those kids.
I ain't gonna even hold you. I think I can also think of negative things too, just as a general population, how it would affect us. Like, I don't want the American government to have all of our fucking DNA on file. Like, there's a lot of things that, there's a lot of things I could think of why I wouldn't want to do that. But, unless they're going to, but even if they write into some law, because they could just change the law, right? So I wouldn't even feel comfortable if it was like, at first they were like, nope, we're only going to use it for this. I know that they would just say that at first, and then eventually, they would use it for something.
And I work for them.
Yeah. So
I believe you me. I'm with you and I work for them.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that's that trick of patriarchy. Patriarchy has men believing that they are also operating within an ethical system. They think that if they try to go to court, because how many times have we heard men come on here and be like, oh, well, I don't want to get the courts involved. Get the courts involved, because if you read enough, you would know that the majority of the time when men go to court to try to get their kids, they are actually getting them. The problem is that you want to lie and say that it's the court system. When the court system favors you, you want to lie and say that, oh, well, she want to take all my money. Okay, as a man in this society, under, in a patriarchal society, you make more money. Okay, take those kids home with you because you're making more money. You have more access to resources. Oh, it's because, they don't have mandatory paternity testing. CVS got paternity testing. When you ask for that baby for the weekend, don't take the, like his girl said, don't take the 6-7-year-old to get tested by your auntie and you don't know who, it's all topsy-turvy. Take that 6-week-old baby and test that child, the infant, so that you know from the beginning whether or not that child is yours. But all of it is so much of a cop-out, and it gets to the point where now they want to make it mandatory. But again, like you said, you're dealing with a corrupt system. If they have access to your DNA, you think they care about whether or not you're the father of that kid or not? No.
They don't care.
No, absolutely not. They're going to use it for, for salacious.
They're going to use it for military. They're going to use it for weapons where them motherfuckers can find you by your DNA. They're going to have they're going to invent a weapon where they can shoot that motherfucker and it hit you. Like, you can be in a crowd. It'll just hit you, nigga. Like,
but you have blood type. Your relatives gonna start coming up missing because all of y'all is O type. Kind of like a Black Mirror trying to spike
for real.
Lady. But because you have a specific blood type, now they know. Oh well, yeah, he got the good juice over there. Let's just say he disappeared. Let's say he just went to the park and we don't know what happened. We don't have cameras in that park. Who knows where he went?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't trust the government like that. But I'm with, I'm saying I'm with y'all. At the end of the day, though, I'm like, some gotta give, because the way y'all be out here graping and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that'll override my fear of the government, because the way y'all be out here graping, I don't know, man. And also, you know what would happen too? Definitely initially, the men's would just start unaliving a lot of these women. Like, even more so, I'm saying, even more so, which is not a reason to not do it, I guess, because, that's always like how men get, we're going to be violent in them. But yeah, a woman get pregnant, a little girl, a 12-year-old, she gone. She gone. She gone. You can just chalk that one up. Like, they gone. They gonna come up missing. So I think it'll always it'll create some other problems, some unintended consequences. And what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, for something that is not a fucking problem, for something that is not, and it is a non-motherfucking factor. Who cares if that baby is yours or not? Like, I'm still Rich. Can you tell me why that matters? If you can make that make sense. I get the woman. To me, this is like talking about, like, and I've thought about this before many a times. I've tried to get out of it, I should even say, this logic, but it never made sense to me. So it's like talking about like trans women, right? Like, men be like, oh, I'll never be with a trans woman, all that stuff. Okay. If you slept with a trans woman and you thought that she was a woman, like, but not, what I'm saying, she's a woman. You slept with her. And then you find out that it wasn't. How does that affect you? You see what I'm saying? Like the only part that is fucked up about it is they betrayed you by not giving you all the information. That's the only thing that's fucked up about it, right? It's like they lie. It's the lie that bothers you. That's the thing that really should bother you, right? But that doesn't change, because you're not. You know what I'm saying? Or you go, oh no, because y'all be afraid that y'all are attracted to trans women now, which is a whole nother issue. But it physically, materially, it does nothing. It does nothing to you whatsoever. It doesn't change anything about you whatsoever, right? The lie, I can understand. The same thing with not disclosing, if, like you said earlier, if you don't know if the baby, if the woman thinks there's a chance that the baby is somebody else's, it's the lie that hurts. I get it. The lie hurts you. It hurts your ego. It hurts your heart or whatever. Fine. And that's what I said from the beginning. I said all that shit hurts is your ego. All it hurts, it only hurts your feelings. How else are you harmed by that? Like, I don't understand that. Where's the inherent harm coming from if you find out 10 years later that the baby ain't yours? Like, what? Okay. Where did it come from?
Well, for a start, everybody should, look, if you want to adopt someone, that should be your choice, right? But everybody should have the choice whether to raise their own kids or someone else's. I mean, it goes without saying.
That's not what I'm asking you. Where is the harm? That's what I'm asking you. You don't have to give me a spiel about, oh, this is in a perfect world. I don't care about that. I'm asking you, how, outside of your feelings, how does it hurt you?
If I've been raising someone else's kids, or it absolutely, I mean, look, listen,
But you don't love those kids?
Hold on. Let him answer this, please. Hold on. Answer. Outside of your feelings, how does it hurt you?
I don't understand what you mean by outside.
You know what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm saying. Outside of your
tomfoolery, I was telling you.
Outside of your feelings, how does it hurt you? I'm curious. How does it hurt you?
Are you saying that your feelings isn't significant enough for
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. For the way that men are going about handling the idea of paternity fraud versus the actual impact of it is crazy. Like, it hurts your feelings. I get it. That's fucked up. I don't want anybody's feelings to be hurt, but we got to create whole systems and, oh man, and we out here talking about it for hours on end on the internet. Like, for what? Because your feelings got hurt? Like, what? Serious? Like, I'm dead serious. Like, what's the beef?
I just want to know. I'm just curious to know whether you keep the same energy of how important feelings are when you're talking about women and abuse.
Yeah, it depends on what we're talking. Abuse? No.
Well, that's what I thought. I mean,
Abuse? No. But again, I'm trying to understand where, like, here's what I'm saying. Finding out that baby wasn't yours is not going to rewire your brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, finding out that baby ain't yours is not going to rewire your brain. It ain't going to do what Shia LaBeouf did to FKA Twigs. It ain't going to do that. You'll be okay. You know what I mean? Like, you go to some therapy, you'll be all right. But abuse will rewire your brain. So comparing this to abuse is not the same thing. Like, it's like this. Getting punched in your face one time, I'm granted physically it could shake your shit up, but I'm just saying, like, getting punched in your face one time typically isn't going to do anything to your brain, right? But getting punched in your face repeatedly, even if it doesn't do anything to your brain physically, right? Like from the rattling your brain, it will psychologically fuck with you from being abused over time, and it could literally rewire the synapses in your brain, right? That's what I'm saying. Finding out in one fell swoop that your child isn't your child, though it can and it may be soul crushing for that moment, you'll be okay. You'll recover fully, completely. You'll be fine. In the vast majority of cases, you'll be fine. You don't got to worry about it. So I'm still waiting on.
I mean, look, that's your take. That's your take. I think most men.
No, that is the real take. What the fuck you mean? That's my take. That's the take. That's the take. That's the actual accurate take. That's it.
Well,
getting bad news one time does not destroy you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, I'm saying, like, it doesn't have it is not abusive. That's not, nobody would say like, oh, that's abuse. Like somebody punching you in the face one time or you being abused like consistently, those are two different things. Those are two different things.
Child.
Of course you disagree.
Questions, what do you say?
Man, what you doing, man? I don't want to mute you, fam. Go ahead.
I had a question specifically with the phrasing, because I noticed that whenever we talk about the paternity things, a lot of men do that. I don't want to raise other people's kids, like that verbiage specifically. Mm-hmm. And it's funny to me because they don't want to raise their own kids. Well, that too. But even besides that portion, like men constantly look for caregivers for their kids. Like they constantly seek out women and other people to constantly watch their kids, whether it be babysitters, aunts, uncles, sisters, everybody else gotta watch their kids and be responsible for their kids. And if you're a woman in their life and they need help and with their kid and you don't do it, you're not maternal, you're not a good person, you're watching this person, da-da-da-da-da. So when it comes to y'all needing aid with your children and wanting people to quote unquote watch your kid, y'all actively pursue that. Like, if a man is widowed, it becomes a widower, and his significant other passes away, one of the first things that people like that are known to do is seek out another woman so that they can care for those children in the proximity of them. So it's okay again. When men do it, it's perfectly fine to the point it's known that y'all do it. To the point women actively are now going on a whole thing of don't date these men with kids because they're looking for other mothers for their kids now. Like it's becoming a known thing. But in the next breath, when it comes to, for whatever reason, pregnancy, I can't raise another person's kid. So you want the entire world, all the women, all the other people around you to cater to your child constantly. But when it comes to you, you can't cater to nobody else. No other person's well-being is on your forefront. You don't have to worry about it. My neighborhoods are helping feed other people's kids. If my neighbor's kid comes to me and wants food, if my neighbor's kid knocks on my door and goes, I'm so sorry, something's happening with my parents, I want to feed it. I would be considered an immoral person if I did not feed that child, right? Yep. But you as a man, you think that anyone who believes anything otherwise, when you become the person with the scenario, now everybody's crazy, everybody's wrong, everybody's wanting you to do this, that, and the third. It's like, the logic is inconsistent. I need y'all to pick one and stick to one. Is it fucking kids or not? Bet. Go ahead, Mal. He said he wanted to answer it.
Yeah. The reason why it's different is because you're not doing so under any false pretenses. The reason why a lot of men dislike the whole thing of paternity fraud and why it's a big deal Because a lot of men are raising kids who they believe are theirs, and that child is simply not.
What is a lot of men? 0.03% of men?
That was the low end. The high end was 30%.
Huh?
That was the low end.
No, that's the actual number. Is the point?
No, there's no set number.
No, I'm saying I'm talking about the people that have been tested. That's the number. So again, logically, for the 10th time, if you tested every single child and every single mother and every single father, that whatever the number is right now, it would drop. Like, how hard is that to understand for y'all? Like, the fact that you guys have bought into this lie that like there's a bunch of men out here raising kids that quote unquote aren't theirs, as opposed to being able to think this through rationally, is wild to me. Like, it is really, I mean, you see how propaganda works, and you see how it actually creates, like cognitive dissonance, but it also, at this point, man, it's giving men like mental health problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking up your brain.
It is a like rightful fear, because that 0.003, like, that number you gave is pretty similar to a lot of other like phenomenons which people have fear of, similar like shark attacks and other things and whatnot.
I know, and that's an irrational fear. A shark attack is an irrational fear. When you think about, hold on, listen. This is how you guys do it. This is how you do it, right? You say stuff that you think is, you say stuff you think is smart. And then when I clock how dumb it is, you just like do some stupid laugh. Shark infested waters. Yes. So the likelihood that you're going to get bit in shark infested waters goes up. Not all waters. Hold on. Not all waters are shark infested though. So it would go. So the 0.3%, let's say in this case, that's for all waters. That's for everybody swimming in any beach at any given time. And the likelihood, because I'm a beach baby. Man, hold on. I grew up in a beach town. I lived at the beach. I was at the beach all the time. The likelihood that you're going to get bit by a shark in the beach in Long Beach is fucking, I don't think it's ever happened. So yes, having a fear of sharks at the beach in Long Beach is irrational. Like, to the point to where you don't get in the water or something like that. To be concerned, yeah, okay, I get you. But to actually have like a fear of it, that's irrational. That's an irrational fear. Absolutely. I would be like, why are you're afraid of a shark? You're more likely to get stung by a stingray than you are to get bit by a shark in my beach, or any of the beaches over here, fucking anywhere, right? But yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
You know what else is a fun way to look at that? Because for one, and I'm sure we all agree with this, when it comes to femicide rates, when we talk about, the number that's happening per capita, or if we're talking about the amount of women, within the population who are, succumbing to this, men always use the excuse that it's such a small number. Oh, you should be able to trust most men because the number is like points. When you really look at it, the number is like 0.3 men. It's a very low number, which we know is absolutely ridiculous. And especially, with these things, we're not gonna go down that road. But the other fun part is that that I haven't heard happen in this conversation is the amount of men who have lied about neighbors' kids, cousins. I want you to watch this kid. I want you to help me with this kid. And really that was their child. The amount of times that I can say personally that I know of men who had women raising children under the guise that this man was a mentor to this child, that this was his cousin, that this was his friend's kid, that this was a kid that he just, loved and admired from afar. But really, it was his kid.
Yeah, that's some Detroit shit.
It's not. It's
I know that's real.
I promise you it's not.
I know.
It's not. And the funny part is like a lot of what we see, especially when we talking about because you can say the same when you're talking about men who are having relationships with women and they getting these side babies and then these women are taking care of them. Because I think a prime example of that is the movie Fences. That man had been punching on that lady on the side the whole time.
Yep.
He knew it was a possibility that lady could get pregnant, and then he got her pregnant and he brought the baby to the lady's house. Now, granted, it was because the mama unalive.
Yep.
But still, you were brave enough to bring that baby to that lady's house and you knew that it wasn't her baby and you were having her take care of it. These things do happen, but especially because these are things that relate to women, we know that the numbers will always be skewed because of the fact that nobody cares to research it. Nobody cares to look into it because it's something that's happening to women for the most part. Mm-hmm. So there for sure are women who, if you want to call it paternity fraud, who have experienced men bringing kids to their house that they don't know and having them take care of them kids as if, oh, well, this is just a one-off thing. No, you knew, not only did you know you could have got that lady pregnant, but also you knew that kid was yours the whole time, and you led that lady to believe that it was something very different than what it was. Facts.
Hey, y'all, I just want to remind everybody, definitely appreciate everybody liking the live. Let's get over 100,000 likes real quick. Participate. Thanks for liking the live and gifting and all of that stuff. Definitely, I appreciate the super chatters, man. Yeah, man. Y'all let me know. Y'all hit the super chats. Let's hit the Cash App one time too. Let's keep the live alive. Pour a favor. That'd be great. Go ahead.
I just wanted to jump in real quick. I was gonna say, can I say this super quick, real quick, and I'm gonna drop Rich, you a dummy bitch. Bye, guys.
All right, look.
I just want to say real quick, and I'm gonna drop Rich. I got you on an Interpol watch list. Appreciate you, cuz. I got you, cousin. I'm looking out, bruh. Don't leave the UK.
Yeah, BPG kind of touched on a little bit of the point I was trying to make earlier, but I couldn't. About like when Rich was trying to basically say that all these women are blocking their kids from seeing their dads and another irrational thing he was talking about. And it just like, it's so ironic because I didn't even have time to make the point because, I have a 5-year-old that is very needy, but it just made me think about like, for perfect example, his dad is out of town. He's been out of town since last Friday. He won't be back till basically 2 weeks. He's gone. And even like other people can see how much less free time I actually have. Like people are like, hey, where have you been? Like, of course, there's other things going on too outside of that. But it's just when you think about a whole lot of women, rational, logical beings, keeping their child away from a great dad, because I don't care if you say she jealous. I don't care if you say she mad because you got a new girlfriend. I don't care if she say you bitter. None of that is worth not having a second of free time. None of it. And that's why we don't believe you. Because as somebody who is doing it, somebody who has a co-parent that shares 50-50 custody, when that man is in town, get your baby. Period. I don't care. I don't care if I hate your stinking guts. Mm-hmm. Get your baby. I'm gonna hate you from over here.
Yeah, I believe.
Have a great week. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, shenanigans. I believe that that's the kind of person you are. I just know for a fact
most
that
women.
Not every woman thinks like
that. It's not. It doesn't really have anything to do with the kind of person I am. I need a break. Like it's not that I'm just so.
She's saying the opposite of being like virtuous and yeah.
Like, it's not because I'm just such a good person. It's because I need a break. Like it's like any rational person would with children. Like it's not a one-person job. That's the point.
Rich, you got kids? You got a baby?
No.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah, man. Because
anybody doing it by themselves, it's because they have to, not because they want to. I promise you.
Because I would never. I would never.
I've seen it. That's
no, you got. What have you seen, Rich? What have you seen?
No, I've seen exactly what I said. I've seen,
which is what?
Which is what?
What have you seen? What do you mean?
I've seen parents, mothers that drive a wedge between the children and their father.
And what does it look like?
Multiple.
What does it look like? What does it look like? What is the mother doing? What is the father done? Because you have to, for you to know this, Rich, you have to know that the father didn't do anything to deserve the wedge being driven. Just so you know. So I want, when you say you've seen it multiple times, so you're telling me that you have intimate knowledge of the inner workings of all of these relationships where you know the man hasn't done anything, he hasn't been abusive, nothing. The woman has admitted it, because how else would you know? And all of this stuff, right? And you've seen it multiple times, like you said. That's what you're trying to convince us of.
I've seen it multiple times, yes. Absolutely.
And you have all of this knowledge, all of this data.
I do.
So why can't you explain it to us and stop being vague?
Yeah. What does it look like?
No. What does it look like? Explain it to us.
I don't want to.
No, you don't. We don't know these people, so you ain't protecting nobody. What the fuck did it look like?
It's too close. It's too close.
I don't know them. You telling us that is worse. Don't tell us wherever it's at. You said you've seen it before. What happened? What did it sound like? What did it look like, Rich?
Yeah, I don't want to.
You don't know. You're a fucking liar. That's why.
I didn't come here to lie. I don't need to lie.
You always come here to lie. All you do is lie.
I've never lied on
You lie all day. You already lied. Already caught you in a lie with your auntie. That you called a bulldog. We already know. We already caught you in a lie. This shit don't make no sense. The fuck is you talking about? That was a lie. You lying now. Talking about you've seen it multiple times. You haven't. You've never seen it before. Y'all, you know what'd be crazy? You know what'd be crazy about all of this stuff? I make a prompt, right? And it's not to say that I don't believe the thing that I'm saying, because I do. I really do. But it's almost like some of it, I do it like tongue in cheek, right? It's like, I'm like, it's fun. I'll get a laugh out of this and I'll make a broader point or whatever. That's kind of like what I did with this. But then when I talk to y'all, like I'll make a definitive statement like I did with this other prompt that I had when I said, I was like, a woman has never committed paternity fraud. I think that was the prompt or something like that. And you guys prove me right. Like every time. It's like, what? Like, how is this even? How? I would think that at some point, I said, this is what I said. Only men commit paternity fraud. Only men commit paternity fraud. Women don't ever commit paternity fraud. That's what I said. And the craziest thing is, you're literally proving it right now, because I keep saying, what does it look like? How does it play out? Who has seen it? Oh, I've seen it. Okay, cool. How does it play out? I don't know. It's too close to home. Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here. You said it's not true?
Look, I could say a lot, but I'm not going to, because I draw the line.
Many things to say.
You ain't got nothing to say, bro.
That's why you don't actually have it, because you know what? I realize that this is what happens, and you've noticed this because you've been here before. What actually happens is y'all start to tell that story, and we start to see the holes. We start to see where the story has gone wrong and why it is that lady is usually protecting that child from that man.
Or herself.
Now, I'll be honest, just like you said that you can tell how Shan was, I can tell how you are. For sure, you're around a bunch of niggas who are bad dads and who are telling you that, well, she keeping me away from the kids because she just don't like the way, she don't like our bond. Our bond so strong that she just get jealous. As if anybody would ever care about that. Nobody cares about that. Absolutely no. There may be some mothers who are just flat out malicious, who just really don't, care about their kids, and they really do. They have some sort of, angst against the father being able to bond with the child more. But truth be told, again, that's not ever going to stop a woman from being around a child. And you already have the answer. You just don't know that it's the answer. Because the moment that a woman can take a good dad away from a child, she can hide that child from that good dad, even though she lives around the corner, or he knows where she stay at, or he knows where her parents are, where he has her information, where he can take her to court, or whatever it is he needs to do to get that kid. The moment that he says that she is keeping him from the child and he's a quote unquote good dad, you already know he's not. Because if he's not figuring out, if he knows that this lady is so malicious that she will keep his child away from him just purely out of spite, then he ought to also know that that lady will do things to that child completely out of spite. And that's the moment where the light bulb should click. I gotta get my kid out of there because that's an unsafe person. That's not happening because they're not good dads. And I believe that they are your friends.
You see what I'm talking about, right? even in the scenario of an abusive mother, you still end up.
You can say because it's too close to home.
Lead to men.
There's no scenario. There is, Rich, darling, there is no scenario because we asked you about whether or not these were people who were your friends or your foes. You could
No, what you said was
the scenario doesn't exist.
all right, you ain't trying to listen. So I just you guys.
We listen, bro. You not. Hey, man, Rich. We just not gonna let you lie to us. And you keep trying to. And every single time you think like somebody is being unfair with this whole like, oh, you guys don't keep that same energy for women. That's your whole shtick.
No,
You're not up here. You're not a real person.
Can I speak to him real quick?
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Because I jumped in just listening to what the lady was saying. And my personal scenario, and you can, Mr. Rich, let me know if I'm right or wrong, but me and my guy was together 8 years, engaged type thing. Separated, the other baby mother jumped in. And I said, he was trying to explain, like, yeah, well, we watch their son. She's trying to figure out why she can't be involved in the baby life. And my response, before you respond, was she's a drug abuser, or I say pharmaceutical consumer abuser for TikTok language. So am I wrong for not allowing them to have like their moment together because she wants to be in their son's life, but also part of his son's life? Am I now wrong because she's in that part of her life to say, no, she's not allowed around my child?
No, absolutely, you're not wrong. Like, if she's a substance abuser, you're absolutely not wrong for doing that. But that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about the people that weaponize the children for the purpose of.
What does that look like? How do you weaponize the children? What does it look like?
Okay, all right. Without getting too deep, there are several methods. One of them is to brainwash the kids against the dad.
What does that look like? How do you brainwash the kids against the dad?
I can actually answer that question because
No. I want Rich to answer it. I want Rich to answer it.
She was just about to. Your own team was just all right. Cool.
I don't have a team.
You definitely.
I don't need a team. I don't have a team.
You have a
Mr.
cult.
Rich, I just
Me.
went against what he said. So it's not a team. He's just trying to figure out your approach. So don't think if I support him, but I just was supporting you just in the same sense. So it's not a team because I was about to back you up. He just want to hear what you have to say before I can speak.
Yeah, I just want to hear. I want to hear what are you saying? What does it look like?
So to brainwash the kid is to make them believe that their dad is a bad person from early. And the thing about doing it from early is if the child grows up with this ideology, it's like any sort of brainwashing, right? There is very little that the dad can do.
Can I ask you a question, Rich? What if the dad is actually a bad person?
Then that's a whole different matter.
Okay. And logically, again, what is most logically going to be the scenario? That the dad is actually just a bad person, or the dad is a good person and the mom is poisoning the child against the dad?
Both can be true. And both
I didn't ask you which anything could be fucking true.
It's irrelevant then.
No. It's very relevant. What is most likely to be the scenario? And when I say most likely, I mean the vast majority of the time, 90% of the time in this case. What is most likely to be the scenario? Maybe more than that.
Probably not 90%.
It's more than that though.
I find it kind of irrelevant to the point. Because
If you're placed in a position, what would you do then?
Listen, I'm not saying that one is more prevalent than the other. I'm just saying they both exist.
Wait, why aren't you saying that one is more prevalent than the other?
It's irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant. It is
It's very relevant.
The-
If you're talking about something that happens 0.2% of the time versus the other 99.9% of the time, that's very relevant. Because why are we talking about it?
It's the majority.
And why are you lying about it? More importantly, saying that you've seen it multiple times when it fucking never happens. That's what I'm saying.
Gonna get me. I'm not going to speak about this.
Neek says it does happen. Go ahead, Neek. Tell us how it happens.
Well, again, my situation, she put him in a vulnerable situation because she knew he actually wanted to be in the light. That's why I was going to approach you, Rich, in terms of your side. On the other flip side, I have my brother that's currently going through, because he was incarcerated, so he didn't see his oldest son growing up. Now he has this baby. And she's like, oh, you gonna watch him or you're not gonna see him again? You gonna get him this weekend? And he's trying to explain to her, like, I have to work, my schedule. Can we get on the same page? Like, can we at least put a schedule together? And she's like, no. Like, so I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. At the same time, we're talking about the majority.
I don't think either one of those scenarios actually.
That's his kid. That's his kid. And I think that's the part where men have more leniency than women, because as a woman, I can't, if somebody says, including my own husband, who does not do that, by the way, because I don't play it. But if somebody says that they can't, that you have to get your kid at a certain time, when you are somebody's parent, you pick that kid up. It don't matter. If the school call you and you're in the middle of your job and they tell you your kid is misbehaving or your kid is sick or whatever is going on with your kid, and they say you have to come get this kid now, guess what you got to do? You have to go get that kid right then and there. And that's the difference between what it is women are responsible for and what it is men are responsible for, and how they're honestly popping out of this whole thing. Like,
women will definitely do it. Exactly. We won't even question it. We will just drop everything. Listen, we will tell our job, this is what it is. I have to go, and we'll pick our kid up. Whereas though the father, in a sense, they say, I do this, that, and the third. So I try to understand where you're coming from, Mr. Rich.
So that's not her keeping. So that's not her keeping him away from his child, because at the end of the day, kind of to what BPG just said, she doesn't get an option when she has to show up for the child. And even if his schedule isn't, quote, as flexible, he need to, what Smokey Mama say, make it enough. Okay?
Yeah.
Because she don't get that, because you up there capable for your brother, who probably problematic and who's probably abusive, but it's women like you who uphold shit like that, because behind every sorry ass nigga is a family saying, not my brother, not my son. You're the problem. So you see her as a problem because she's saying, no, you need to get him this weekend, because it done been 3 freaking weekends since he got him. When is her break? If these are his kids, when is her time for a break? Can she not show up? Can she just leave the house and don't leave no food in it? No, they're gonna arrest her. So yeah, he need to drop everything. Yeah, he need to be flexible. Yeah, he need to make it enough. He need to make time if he don't have time. That's what you do when you have kids, because they didn't ask to be here. The least you could do is show up when his mama say, hey, I need you to show up.
And the other thing is,
I was gonna let Neek respond because she got cut off. Or she was trying to respond. I said she didn't get cut off. Neek, you can respond. Oh, she no, she on mute. Hold on.
not being right, getting dressed, but you can't weaponize kids against their dads, especially a good dad. I think that people think that kids don't know and understand how their fathers operate, and they do. They know exactly who they're dealing with when they deal with their dad. And even if the mom is bashing the dad, truth be told, what actually happens is the mom may say something about the dad, and the kid will go, no, not my daddy. And then the dad will do it, and they go, dang, that's really my dad. You can't, a kid that is used to having a father that's going to go through hell and high water to get whatever it is they need, to be there for them, whatever, I promise you, you cannot weaponize that kid against that. Matter of fact, Moochie, come here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does happen.
Moochie, your dad is trash. Breathe. What you gotta say? Ain't going for it.
You don't speak to your kid that way.
I don't speak to my kid that way, and it doesn't. Even if I try, that the point is, even if I tried to convince my kid that the dad was bad, my husband shows up so much for our kids
Right.
that they wouldn't even believe it. They wouldn't entertain it. There's not enough, your dad ain't doing this, your dad ain't this, blah, 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 that will overpower the fact that he's actually there, he's actually present, and he's doing what needs to be done.
And how are you poisoning a child if the dad is with the baby? Like, it's impossible.
I was trying to convince, I was telling my fiance, like, no, you need to do, show up, show off, show out. Like, let him know we here, despite what she's saying. And that's what the young lady interrupted me, and she didn't understand the mission. I'm like, as long as you do, and that's what I told my brother, as long as you do, it don't matter what she says. Just be there. Show up every manner, every way.
So
and she didn't let me finish.
So you're saying that you had to tell your fiance to show up for his own kid.
I'm not gonna lie.
Now, hold on, Neek. So again, when you tried to say that it does happen and you use your fiance as an example, he wouldn't be the example, because you shouldn't have to tell him that.
He was for my son, but he wasn't for his
But
oldest son.
again, so he wasn't the example.
You can't be that for your own kid, but you can be that for the woman that you screwing kid.
But that's what the lady, that's what the other baby mother made comment to me. And I'm like, why do you think he's there now? It's because I did that work.
Hold on, but Neek, hold on, wait.
Get an award for that.
I'm not trying to.
But we all around the globe with this. You refuted when you tried to refute me, and you was trying to side with Rich or whatever, make his point.
I wasn't. I was trying.
But you were, though. I know, because you were saying, and I'm saying you were doing it in good faith or whatever. You were saying that, oh, I have an example of it happening, and it was your fiance. That was one of them, right? But come to find out, your fiance was actually not a good father. Right. So she wasn't poisoning the child against your fiance. He was the poison. He was the not good father. So that doesn't count. And then the other scenario you gave with your brother, he wasn't there for his child. Also, not a good father. So that doesn't count. So now we're back to square one. No example. There's no example of it. Rich is lying. We know Rich is lying. At least you tried to give us an example. This motherfucker lying. So yeah.
I'm not saying he was lying.
What's the point of all this then? Why am I even here? Everything I
be wanting you to answer the questions, Rich. I want the example is this, just so we all clear. There are people watching this, right? There are other men watching this who may think like you. They may have thought like you before this live started. They may be on, Team Rich, and they might have thought what you were saying, or not even what you were saying, but prior to this, they might have, been in the same, same lane, same vein, right? But then clearly they start to listen to you, and they listen to this conversation, take place over the last 2 hours. And it becomes abundantly clear that one of us don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And one of us is shown repeatedly to be a liar. And they start to go, well, damn, well, maybe the shit I'm believing ain't so. Maybe what I'm saying actually isn't true and not relevant.
I'm going to apologize first.
No, go ahead, Rich. No, I want Rich to go ahead. Hold on, go ahead.
What I find interesting,
yeah.
When I talk about how, women weaponize the children and brainwash the children.
You haven't talked about it. You just said that it happens, but you can't talk about it.
And you ask how they do it, right? Mm-hmm. It's quite similar to what you're doing now. You just spun a whole false narrative about. I
didn't spin a false narrative. Now you're trying to gaslight me. This is a lie. I'm not buying it. Try again. Don't try to gaslight me. Try again, Rich. So again, you can't give an example of what it looks like. So now you're trying to use this and turn this into your example. Nobody's falling for it, bro. I said this earlier in the video. This is what a lot of men do. A lot of men gaslight the women in their lives, and then they come and they talk to us in these control spaces, and they think that they can do the same thing to us. It doesn't work. It's just dumb. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Why do you keep needing to interrupt what I'm saying then?
Because I don't want to hear you lie to me for 5 more seconds.
Everything I'm saying is just a lie.
Not everything you're saying is a lie. You're lying now. Sometimes you make a point, or sometimes you say something that's valid, but right now you're lying, and I don't want to hear you. It's a waste of my time to listen to a person try to lie to me. It's weird.
Mr. Rich, what I think the host.
Hold on, Neat. Wait, let this. I'm talking to this. Right. Go ahead.
Oh, you're lying. That's your go-to
Whenever somebody is lying, yes, my go-to is you're lying. Yeah. My go-to when people lie to me is stop lying. Yeah.
It's a bit lame though.
Calling somebody a liar when they are clearly lying to you isn't lame.
Why would I come up here and lie?
You have to ask yourself that. That's a question a liar would ask. Why would I lie? I don't know.
It's lame. Like,
I can come up with reasons why I think you're lying. You want me to take my best guess as to why you're lying right now?
I don't know. I don't like. Go ahead. I don't care.
Okay, then why are you asking me then? Do you want to know or do you not want to know? Because I can tell you why I think you're lying.
All right, go for it.
Okay. One of the easiest reason is you're clearly wrong, and instead of you just admitting that you're wrong, you're doubling down, right? So that you're just compounding lies. That's number one. Number two, your default, you have an agenda, which I've already clocked. Your agenda is to be a both ways Bob, right? That's what your agenda is. You're waiting for these like moments to do that. And you've been trying to do it this whole time. Like, so when it's a woman, would you say the same thing? Oh, when it's no, see, do you guys say the same thing for women? I just want you to keep that same energy for women. Like, you're doing that thing. Okay, cool. So that's another reason why you're lying, because your agenda is to play to play both sides, and a part of that is to obfuscate, which is a reason why you're lying again. You are programmed, right? Because I've already told you your name should be Rich NPC. You are programmed to protect the patriarchy by default. That is your default setting. So when you see things that goes against, that challenges the patriarchy and challenges your worldview, your reaction, because you have cognitive dissonance and you lack any integrity, your reaction is to lie to protect it. So that is why you are up here lying. But what am I lying about, Rich? See what I'm saying? When you say the word projecting, now you have to prove to me how I'm lying.
I didn't say.
You said I'm projecting. What is projection? What is projection? Hold on. What is projection?
Well, let me explain.
No. Explain what projection is, since you use the word.
I'll explain in this context, right? Yeah. When you see your point was you've gone on so long. The point you were making about me not being able, and I'm paraphrasing the point. The point you were making about me not being able to accept anything that is outside of, my ideals or whatever. And I'm paraphrasing. That's you. That's not me. That's you. That's you. That's
what?
Not me.
That's me. What?
You are the one who will not accept anything that falls outside of
logic, reason, facts. Yes.
That's you. That's not me.
I know. But hold on. Listen. Hold on.
Conversation alone.
Rewind it, Rich. Rewind it. You're right. I am unwilling to accept things that fall outside of logic, reason, and facts. You are right. Okay. Right? Not, and the shit that you be trying to sell us is not any of that. So therefore, it would make a lot of sense for me to not accept it. Right. That's not me projecting. We are not the same. You don't believe the truth. I don't believe a lie. And you say, that's what you do. You're right.
All right. Let me see. I agree. I agree with
Get the hell out of here. Get out of here.
He agrees with me, I think. All right. In this conversation alone, right, I've already conceded multiple times.
You haven't filed another lie on top of the other lie. You haven't conceded at all.
What you want?
And you act like people don't be in here really listening to you, Rich. You haven't said at any point that you were incorrect, that you could be wrong. You pretended like you had information or a story, but then you backpedal and said, I can't expose such and such business on the internet. Yet you'll come in a room with 500 people, maybe another 500 on YouTube, and just lie in broad daylight.
All right.
Come on, man.
All right, cool. When based on Punk's definition of paternity fraud,
my cousins come.
I conceded that
cousins come tomorrow.
I conceded the fact that they'd have to admit it in order for it to be fraud. I conceded on your prompt. So how you can't even say that about me.
No, baby, you messing up my name. Oh man, sorry. I'm listening to you. I actually heard everything you said. I'm just preoccupied. Yeah, you didn't. But the point is that you have been disingenuous, and you don't really have, like I said, you don't really have like a real solid point. You just what you want to do. And hold on, wait, but Rich, you can't concede and then say but. I know it is, but you can't concede and then say but, brother. That's the thing that's annoying about that shit. Like, you guys think, and that's a part of the gaslighting. It's like, I already said I agree. Yep. At one point in time, you did say I agree, and then you continued to say but and then lie. So did you really concede? If you concede, then you would.
What did I say about?
Everything that you're saying is a but. Everything. I concede, but don't women do this too? I concede, but I've seen mothers do this too. I concede, but it's always a but. What the fuck?
We moved on from the premise. We moved on from the premise. What we're talking about has nothing to do with the premise. Like, we was on the premise. You completely nothing ever.
Shut your whole ass up. See, Dookie in the house.
You're such an intelligent bunch.
What's up, man?
Hey, Ali said, caping for terrible men. Damn, double homicide to Neek. Go ahead, C Dave.
Man, what you coming up with this shit though?
Easy.
You know damn well it is impossible for men to commit paternity fraud.
No, it's not. It's damn near impossible for a woman to, if that's the case.
Impossible.
Paternity fraud isn't. By the way, C Dave, hold on, C Dave. Paternity fraud isn't even real. That, just so we're clear, it's not even a real thing.
It
But
is real.
it's not.
It is.
Based on what?
Based on the definition, it's real.
No, there is a definition to the word, but it's not a real thing, though. It doesn't happen.
How is it not real?
It's just like, hold on, what were we talking about up here? What's that thing called? The parental alienation. Not real, but I know. You know what? I'm not gonna even lie. I do know of cases, like not personally, but I do know of cases where men have done that to women, but I don't of fathers doing that to mothers. But I've never seen a mother, and I've never seen a mother do it to a father though. It's because the system that I think the thing that you guys don't understand, and Rich, I know you jumped at that. Like I said, you're proving my point in real time. The reason I know, and that's, sir, I know it's ridiculous when you're dumb, but the reason why is because there is no system that supports women. Women they can't weaponize the system that's not built for them. The system doesn't benefit women. It's not built to serve women or to protect women or children. So when no, it's not a cop. That's not the right word. It's not the right word. A cop out wouldn't be the right phrase, bro. It's not a cop out. It's reality.
I wonder what do you call if a woman lies to a man about being the father and they are not the father when she knows he's not the father?
That would be paternity fraud.
The fuck? So it does exist.
It doesn't, because that doesn't happen. How does she know? How does she know the baby isn't his?
Because she never had sex with him.
Hold on, wait. See, Dave, now think about this. This is what I'm saying about how stupid y'all are. So think about it. I never had sex with a woman. The woman gets pregnant, like, because Rich or somebody already brought this up. It wasn't Rich. It was it might have been Rich or Cool. It was Cool K, right? So it was Cool K. So I'm this woman that I have. She's pregnant. She's 3 months pregnant. I haven't slept with her in the last 3 months.
Right.
Why would I believe that the baby is mine? Are you fucking dumb?
No, you wouldn't.
Okay, so it don't exist. So try again.
I'm gonna give you a real life case.
No, you didn't. It didn't happen. I already know it didn't happen. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Just listen for a second so you can be quiet.
Go ahead.
So you got a case. Actually, it's in CPG's place in Detroit, where a man was put on child support and told to be the father, and the only reason she did it is because she had to put a name on the thing to get public assistance, and he didn't know about it, right? Until he finally went to court, and they proved that he was not the father. He I never even slept with this woman. The only reason she did it is because she needed to put a name to get public assistance. Paternity fraud. Clear as day.
Mm-hmm.
That happened.
That was welfare fraud there.
How's that not paternity fraud? What do you call that?
Fraud.
That's what?
Did the DNA test and the baby wasn't his, and no harm, no foul, because he didn't get charged anything.
He did get charged because he was on back child support. He still had to pay child support for it because he didn't contest it within 2 years. And they said he's like, I didn't even know this even existed. He didn't contest it within 2 years, so then he still had to pay, which is why they still. So, how do you not know this?
Hold on, wait. They said that he signed the
He didn't sign anything. He didn't even know the baby existed. The only reason he got put on it is
I've heard about this before too.
She put his name down on it. She put his name down on it, and he knew nothing about it until he finally had this tax bill or whatever bill and said, "Hey, you owe $80,000 in child support." He's like, "For what?" And then the lady even admitted to the court, was like, "He's not the daddy. The only reason I put his name down is because I had to put somebody's name down on the what's the name in order to get public assistance."
So that was for the public assistance, so it wasn't paternity fraud. Okay.
It's paternity fraud. And
was he raising the baby?
He never knew the baby.
Okay, so it wasn't paternity fraud.
He did know that she had put his name down. He knew that she had put his name down, and again, because he just said it, that he didn't contest it. That was the bigger issue.
Why didn't he contest it?
Because he didn't contest it because of the fact that he did. Now, again, he wasn't the father, so he thought that it was just gonna go away.
No,
he did. He thought that it was just gonna go away. He was in jail. He didn't know until he ended up in legal problems, and that's when he found out. That he took his test.
No, the reason he didn't contest it because
the story did happen.
I remember it too. Yeah, I don't remember every detail, but I do remember it though.
The reason he didn't contest it within the time frame is because he was in jail.
It wasn't because he didn't know.
He didn't know. He said he didn't know. Only thing he knew was like
the baby wasn't his. He didn't say he didn't know.
He knew, him knowing that
the baby wasn't his. That's what actually.
Okay, hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. Stop. I want to be clear. This whole time we've been talking about paternity fraud, and here's why BPG astutely pointed out that will be welfare fraud, because paternity fraud, the way that everybody fucking thinks that it exists, is you're raising a kid that is not yours. That is what paternity fraud is. Is there anybody here disagreeing with that? Is that not what we've been saying this whole fucking time? You're raising a kid that is not yours. Is that not what we've been saying this whole time? I could be confused.
I disagree with that. Paternity fraud is leading someone to believe that they are the parent of a child.
Hold on, C Dave. And this is why, C Dave, stop. And this is why your argument then blows up in it right on itself. Because he didn't, you just said he didn't even know. So she wasn't leading him to believe that he was the father. Exactly. See? Nope. Done. Dead. It's done. You just said it. Hold on. Nope. Now you're about to move around. I don't want to hear it. You just said paternity fraud is out your own bald head, lying ass mouth. You just said paternity fraud is when a person is trying to mislead another person into believing that they are the father when they are not. Cool. I'm with that. I agree with that because that's what I just got done saying. He didn't know he fucking had a baby, so she wasn't misleading him at all. There we go. So it wasn't paternity fraud, even based on what you just said. I'm done. You're done too. We're not going back and forth about that. That's what you just said. I'm not about to let you lie to me, bro. I don't. C-Day, I'm not about to let you sit here and lie to me. I'm tired of y'all. Losing what? You just said it. You literally just said it what it was. No. We're not going to do that. No. We're not going to do that. Hold on, wait, be quiet. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do it. Not today. I'm tired of it. Y'all, the way y'all like to lie is ridiculous. We're not going to do that shit. We're not going to do that shit today. That's not.
What would you call it? I would call it he's a dummy. How you a dummy?
Hold on.
Chris, can I ask you a question, please? Who was asking the question?
But I don't. Fathers doing that to mothers, but I've never seen a mom.
Why?
That would be paternity fraud.
Just say it with your chest. Why do y'all have to ask all these questions?
Hold on, wait.
Say what you
Wait.
say in my chest.
They said that he signed the
Say it. Just say the weird thing. It's all right.
All right,
The weirdest thing I'm gonna say something really weird and strange.
I've heard about this before too.
Put his name down on it.
Men
She put his name down
do
on
not
it.
commit
And he knew
paternity
nothing
fraud,
about it
period.
until he finally had
Unless
this tax
they
bill or whatever
are
bill and said,
pregnant
hey, you
and
owe
giving birth.
$30,000 in child support. He like,
Hold on.
what?
I was trying
And
to
then
figure out
even
what the
admitted
fuck
to
was
the
going
court,
on.
like, he's not the daddy.
Everybody
The
be
only
quiet.
reason I put his name down is because I had to put
I couldn't
somebody's
figure out
name
for the
down
life of
on
me
the,
what
on the,
was
what's
going
the
on.
name
I'm
in
sorry.
order to get
Give me a
public
second.
assistance.
So that was for the public assistance, so it wasn't paternity fraud. Okay.
It's
Just
paternity
give me a
fraud
second.
and
Was he
welfare
raising was he raising the baby?
He never knew the baby.
Okay, so it wasn't paternity
so
fraud. Confused. I heard Mike talking. I was like, Mike ain't even said nothing yet.
He knew that he had put his name
This is
down.
crazy.
And again, like he just said it, that he didn't contest it. That was the bigger issue.
Why did he contest it?
Because he didn't contest it because of the fact that he did. Now, again, he wasn't the father, so he thought that it was just gonna go away.
No.
He did. He thought that it was just gonna go away.
He was in jail.
He didn't know until he ended.
It's not yours. Is that not what we've been saying this whole time? I could be confused.
I disagree with that. Paternity fraud is leading someone to believe that they are the parent of a child.
And she. Oh no, wait, hold on. A paternity fraud is leading somebody to believe that they are the father of the child. That is what you said, C. Dave. There's no way out of that. You literally just said that. So when I said, if you're not, if she said that to a court system or some other group of people, then it wouldn't be paternity fraud. She wasn't tricking the man into thinking he was the father. He always knew he wasn't the father. And based on what you said earlier, he didn't even know that she was doing that, even though BBG said he did know, but whatever though. He didn't even know. So how the fuck is that paternity fraud? That's what I'm saying. Based on what you just said. Again, we'll do it again.
It's really easy to answer. You just gotta shut up and
Nah, bro, you about to lie. I hate it.
It's because he was in jail.
It wasn't because he didn't know.
He didn't know. He said he didn't know. Only thing he knew was like
The baby wasn't his. He didn't say.
He didn't know. He said he didn't know. Okay, cool. Y'all don't argue with C. Dave. He got it. Listen to what he's saying. The man didn't know. Cool. Let's keep going.
He didn't know.
he knew. Him knowing that
The baby wasn't his. That's what happened.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Stop. I want to be clear. This whole time we've been talking about paternity fraud. And here's why BPG astutely pointed out that will be welfare fraud, because paternity fraud, the way that everybody fucking thinks that it exists is you're raising a kid that is not yours. That is what paternity fraud is. Is there anybody here disagreeing with that? Is that not what we've been saying this whole fucking time? You're raising a kid that is not yours. Is that not what we've been saying this whole time? I could be confused.
I disagree with that. Paternity fraud is leading someone to believe that they are the parent of a child.
And she. Oh no, wait, hold on. See that. I'm actually now I am interested in how you are going to lie your way out of this one. Go ahead. We listening now. Go ahead.
Thank you. So when you're committing fraud, it is leading someone to believe that they are the parent when they are not the parent. It's also going to court and telling them and lying to the courts and getting
That nigga just added on something.
Is it fraud if I defraud
Oh my God, man. Now you about to argue about the word fraud, but that's not what we're talking about. But go ahead. We're not. Are there not different types of fraud? Okay, then we're not just talking about any fucking fraud. We're talking about paternity fraud, which isn't a real fucking thing, by the way, because if it were a real thing, we wouldn't have all these different meanings and definitions. It would just be what it is, right? But it's not. We know what welfare fraud looks like, and that's what BPG just described.
You can commit paternity fraud by going to the court and getting an injunction on somebody who you know is not the fucking dad. That's paternity fraud.
How? For what reason? Hold on, wait. For what? Hold on. For what reason?
To get money.
Okay, so that's the reason. So it's welfare fraud. Again, who are you getting money from? Who are they getting money from? The man? The man?
Because he now has to pay back.
He doesn't. All he has to do is get a DNA test.
He can't. He already got the DNA.
What the fuck are you talking? Hold on. Now you lying more. So you getting it? Hold on. Not the scenario you described, because now you're describing a different scenario, right? Because you just said that she. Hold on, C-Day. C-Day, stop. I'm trying to help you, because you just, when you start lying, you be all over the place. The story you described was not the one that you just gave right now. The story you described initially was she was taking advantage of the system. Now you're saying she was trying. Now you're saying that in this new scenario, that woman is trying to get money out of the man. Okay, that's a new scenario. So in this, shut up, C-Dave. So in the new scenario, hold on, bro. Hold on. So in the new scenario, the woman says, I'm gonna put an injunction on this man and try to get some money out of him. Cool. They slap that nigga with a whatever the fuck to go to court. He go, what the fuck? A subpoena. Oh my God. They saying I'm this baby's father. That ain't my baby. Your Honor, I contest. I want to do a DNA test. Okay, cool. Run a DNA test, blah, 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 blah. All right, bet. Run a DNA test. Oh, come to find out, that baby ain't yours. Okay, bye. Have a nice day, Mr. C. Dave. That's how that shit will work. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. So again, you have to, let me finish.
Hold on.
You have to be able to contest something within a certain amount of time. Even in my original story.
You have to add a bunch of shit to it, bro. I don't want to hear the extra shit.
Real quick,
because he didn't contest it in an amount of
Sorry,
time,
hold
he
on.
was allowed to do it.
Hold on. Again, you are conflating two different scenarios. You are now back to your original scenario, which is welfare fraud. I'm telling you, again, based on your new fictitious, made up, fresh out of your ass story,
I'm talking about the same one, bro.
you're not. It doesn't, sir. You're adding, hold on, you're adding stuff onto it. You're saying that, oh, what if he does? Hold on. You're saying, what if he does? In your scenario, there's a lot of ifs. In mine, there's not. In mine, there's just how it works. Like literally how it's supposed to work. Now, if you fuck up as the man, then so be it. Now you're trying to say that, oh, she could get an injunction on him, and then he don't even know that it. He needs to be informed. He needs to be informed, right? Cool. He has back child support. Hold on. He has back child support. He ain't paying it. You're right. He goes in there. He ain't paid a dime though so far. He goes in there. He says, hey, that's not my baby. I don't know what the fuck. That has nothing to do with me. I didn't sign nothing. I don't know who this woman is. Never seen her in my life. She just said that baby is mine. Cool. Do a DNA test. You're done.
How long do you have to contest a DNA test?
How long did you?
Because you know what, and this is the one time where I'm very glad. I know y'all saw me sipping my little tea. Y'all saw the little coffee cup come up because I had to remember. Because thank you, C Diddy, for bringing that up. Because of the fact I had to go back and look at that case because I did remember that man was cleared. He did not have to pay a dime of that money.
Exactly.
Once they found out, once the DNA test came back and they found out that he was not the father of that child, and the woman did admit, this is one case where for sure she did admit that she did not know him. She had no relations to him. He did know beforehand that there was some issue with the child support, however, but he dismissed it because of the fact that he knew he wasn't the father. So just like, and that's a normal reaction. I don't blame him for that because of the fact that he like, I ain't never slept with nobody. I ain't never, cheated on my wife, nothing like that. So I know this baby ain't mine. And whatever, dismissed it. But he was cleared. He was cleared for that case. Took the DNA. It wasn't after so long because once he realized that he was being garnished, because again, he had been on the child support. The lady had him on the child support for so long that by the time he found out, he was already beyond default, and now he was one of his checks was garnished. Right. But they gave him that money back, and his name was cleared, so he didn't actually lose any money.
But so again,
anytime because once they did the DNA test, he was cleared of that.
Why are we still doing buts? Based on your dumbass scenario, it's done, C Dave.
It's a real life story.
It is. That's the scenario you brought up to prove your point, and it doesn't prove your point.
Initially, you added a whole lot of other stuff to it that wasn't necessary because you added that he had to contest after 2 years. He did not have to test after 2 years. He did not spend 2 years in court trying to figure out whether or not this child was his. He didn't.
All right. Teresa said, didn't a woman come up and dispel? Hold on, y'all. Teresa said, didn't a woman come up and dispel this shit? I don't know, maybe not in my life that I can remember. Teresa said, is the national security lady still in here? Drop. Nah, she not. She gone. Cry said, see Dookie. And also, it's this very specific thing we were just talking about. Go ahead. I don't know who was talking. My bad. I think Mike needs to say something too.
I agree with both of them. Like if your name is on a birth certificate, that's one thing. You know, it might take a little longer. At the same time, if they are on like welfare, like let's say they just maybe getting food stamps or something like WIC or something, I don't know. But then they need cash assistance, and they take you because cash assistance would then require you to, because I'm a social worker, also a teacher, but they will require you to actually just take the father to child support. You can, at that point, deny it. You can then say, hey, I'm not the father. I want a DNA test. And then with that DNA test, if you're not the father, it goes back on the mother in the state of Maryland anyway.
Okay. So the point, hold on. So the point is, again, based on the scenario that C. Dave gave, there is no such thing as paternity fraud because the man he never got defrauded. That's the point. He wasn't defrauded. That's the point.
Like he is scenario.
All you got to do is go get the fucking DNA test. That's it. And you done. He never got defrauded. Jesus Christ.
Push back. Stop laying down. Push back. If you feel that way, just no, you weren't defrauded. Like, I don't know if it's you or your friend, but
it was a story that he read in the paper.
He's not defrauded when he got money taken out of his check.
Because he got everything fucking restored, bro. Easily.
You don't even know the fucking story.
She just fucking said it right now. You didn't know the story, nigga. What the fuck? You think I'm gonna listen to you?
I'm saying he can get
reimbursed. Did he get reimbursed his money?
He could.
She just said he did right now. She literally just said he got his money back.
So in your scenario or your friend's scenario, he could.
It's a true story. It's a true fucking.
I didn't say the story ain't true. I just said you didn't.
Telling you how to fix it.
So again, even he had to go up to the Detroit, Michigan Supreme Court in order to get it done, right? And it was a black lady lawyer.
No, he didn't.
It was a.
See Dave, stop. No, you can't because we're reading it now. We don't need you to tell us when we're reading it. Oh, he was cleared. Okay.
All we're trying to do is let you understand, like, or let your friend understand.
Neat. That's not what's happening. I promise you. We're not doing
This is
it.
another story. This ain't even the story I'm talking about. This ain't even the story I'm talking about.
See, Diddy, first of all, this doesn't even say the man's name on it. How do you know that?
This is not the story I'm even talking about.
Why?
This is another one.
How?
All right, sweetie.
Why isn't it the story you're talking about?
What you mean? Why isn't it?
How isn't it?
The one I'm talking about.
Okay. What story are you talking about, C. Dave?
Give me a second. I'm gonna give you his name. Hold on.
Ali said, C. Dave must deliver pizzas to the police precinct. Mike Redding, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so I have a story in the BBC about a gentleman called Richard Mason. He had, so basically, I was told by his ex-wife. So basically what happened was he found out he wasn't the biological father of his kids. And, you know, he found out that he was diagnosed. He was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis 2 years ago. And basically it meant he didn't know that he was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis until 2 years ago. And so he was unable to have children. And so what has happened is that the ex-wife has been ordered to pay him £250,000 in, check this out, paternity fraud.
Hold on.
And so now,
wait, go back.
BBC,
Take it back a little bit. So he didn't know he had fibrosis.
Yeah, he didn't know.
He didn't know, and that means she didn't know.
Right.
Okay, so where was the fraud at?
Right. But basically,
hold on, no, not right. Answer that question. She thought he could have babies. He thought he could have babies. How did she know that he couldn't have babies? Because that would prove the fraud. Even if she was cheating.
The courts have proven the fraud.
The courts didn't prove fraud. Mike. The courts didn't prove fraud. It's not possible to prove.
That's what they're saying.
They can't.
They prove fraud.
They can't. How can it? Think about it. How could they? Hold on, Mike. Listen. God damn. Fraud involves intent. She had to know that he couldn't have babies, and then, which would make no fucking sense that she would know, but he wouldn't know. That's dumb. But anyways, she would have to know that he couldn't have babies, and then she would have to, and then her intention would be to deceive him, to believe that the babies were his when the whole time she knew that they weren't his. There was no chance that the babies could have been his. That's the way that the fraud would work. But since you just said in the first fucking sentence that he didn't know that he had fibrosis, therefore she didn't know that he had fibrosis, and they didn't, and she didn't know that he was unable to have children, that literally means that she couldn't have committed fraud.
But the legal case has allowed her to keep the identity of the real father a secret.
What does that have to do with what I said? What does that have to do? What does that have to do with what I said?
She wants to keep the
I don't know.
Identity of the real father secret. See, she already knows.
I don't know.
She already knows. That's what the court transcript.
Hold on, wait. Listen to what you're saying. Again, if she was only sleeping with two dudes, and then come to find,
she could have been sleeping with.
Sir, shut the fuck up, Mike. God damn. You said she knows who the father is. So let's assume in this case, because it's the most logical thing to do, she was sleeping with two dudes. Her husband,
at least two dudes.
Her husband and this random guy, right? Okay. So by process of elimination, it's not her husband. It must be this other guy. Boom, case solved. Jesus Christ.
Right. So
that doesn't mean that she knew the whole time that it wasn't his.
She knew the whole time.
She couldn't have known, Mike. Mike, she couldn't have known. I'm trying to tell you scientifically, she couldn't have known.
You're starting to add something else onto the story.
I'm not. I'm taking the story you gave me. Hold on. I'm taking the story you gave me, right? And I'm just saying, based on what you said, I'm not twisting it. I'm literally taking what you said verbatim, and you said that there's no way that you said that she couldn't, that she didn't know because he didn't know that that he had fibrosis or whatever, right?
Yes.
There you go.
But he didn't know that. But here's the thing. But the legal case has allowed her to keep the identity of the real father a secret.
That doesn't prove anything.
She already knows the identity of the real father.
That doesn't prove anything.
She doesn't want to reveal it.
That doesn't prove anything. 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 That doesn't prove that she committed fraud.
It proves that she knew all along.
It doesn't prove that she knew all along.
It does, because
it doesn't
want to reveal. She doesn't want.
How does that prove that?
Well, because it says right here, she wants to hide the identity.
Again, it doesn't prove that it was fraud, because again, unless you're telling me this, here's what I'm saying. And this is what I said earlier to C Dave. This is what I said earlier to C Dave. If the man is sleeping with the woman, I'm sorry, if the man doesn't sleep with the woman, right?
Yeah.
Then why would he think the baby is his? That would be dumb, right? So he must be a fucking idiot if that's the case, because that's the only way that this would make sense otherwise. See what I'm saying? Because if she slept with the man within the within the frame of whatever it's called, the radius of being able to get pregnant or whatever, ovulation or whatever, right? If she slept with both of these men within ovulation, if she slept with the man, the window, if she slept with with those two men within there, then she doesn't know. She can think. She can think. She can. Don't get me wrong. She can make an educated guess. She doesn't know. She can't know scientifically. She can't know. She can think. She can't know. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
She can know.
The only way in this case that she could have known and you were almost there was if somehow, some way, she knew before the husband knew that he was diagnosed with fibrosis and he wasn't capable of having kids. It's the only way. I'm trying to tell you it doesn't make sense anyway. And lastly, just because, and I'm gonna end on this, just because a court, and here's what I be saying about how courts favor men. Just because a court ruled in his favor doesn't actually mean it was fair and just. See what I'm saying? Because courts have been known to punish people of marginalized groups like women, like black people, like immigrants, unjustly and unfairly in favor of white, in this case, I'm guessing of a white man. Happens all the time.
You can prove to me that this particular case is a case of injustice. It's a court.
I'm not even saying it's I'm not saying it is.
The point I'm making is this. All right. Now, if the woman's period stopped for a particular period, for a time, and you know there could have been like a 1 week, a 2 week. It could have been each understanding. She developed like morning sickness, and then decides to sleep with her husband. Anything can happen. You or I wants to keep it hidden from him, the fact that he is, she doesn't want to reveal it anywhere, but she's still having to pay $250,000. So here's the way to resolve this whole problem of, paternity mistakes, if you want to call them that. Just have mandatory DNA paternity test, and the majority of women, for some reason, don't want it. And I've got to ask why the hell they don't want it. I mean, it's not about undermining their integrity or anything. It's just when a woman is certain that the child is hers, the man also needs to, be certain that the child is his. And, that just solves the whole entire issue. To say that men are committing paternity fraud more so than women is just, well, that's just a bit strange. That's a bit messed up. It can't even happen.
So the guy's name was Carnell Alexander. And in fact, he went to jail behind this shit. Right, he went to jail behind it because they had him in the court system with a warrant out and that he owed all his money back child support. It took him 4 years to finally get cleared. He still was paying child support for those 4 years. Didn't get none of it back. Only thing they said is that you don't have to continue paying. Went to jail, had to pay child support for it. She lied and said that it was his. He had no idea about it because he was in jail at the time that she even had the baby. And because he didn't contest it within 2 years, the court's first dean said, hey, you missed your window of contesting it. So therefore, by law, you have to continue paying. It wasn't until a lawyer went up there and said, hey, this is unfair, blah, blah, blah. They took it up to the Michigan Supreme Court, and they were the ones who overturned it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how this is paternity fraud and not.
If you can't figure out how that's important,
it's not. You just, again, hold on.
This is why you're not smart.
Again, C-Dave, again. The situation that Mike is bringing up would be what most people would consider to be paternity fraud. Just for the record, like I'm saying, like if it happened the way that he's describing, which I'm reading about right now, that would be paternity fraud because she tricked the man into thinking the baby was his, and he was paying money. You know what I'm saying? Knowingly, like he went and was like, oh, the baby is mine, and whatever. You're saying that a woman just put a man's name on a piece of paper and said this man, it could have been any man. She don't even know the man. It just was a name. It just literally was just a name. Nah, it's not. That's hold on. That is not paternity fraud. Oh yeah, I'm sure. But absolutely he did.
So he suffered harm. So he is
hold on. I'm trying to read this real quick.
You can't be a victim of a man can't be a victim of welfare fraud that somebody else is doing. Right? He's a victim of it. That's paternity fraud. Come on, man. Stop being dumb. You don't have to be dumb all the time, bro.
She admitted she had been seeing a man. Oh, it was a man, by the way, like I thought. So a man, she admitted to seeing. Yeah. This doesn't prove that it was paternity fraud, by the way. Still, I'm still not seeing the proof. It just sounds. It just sounds like it sounds like she was sleeping with both dudes, and she got. See, Dave, shut the fuck up. I'm talking to Mike about what Mike was telling me about. She slept with the other husband. He was sleeping with her at the time. You fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. She was sleeping with both dudes at the same time, and she got pregnant, and she suspected, that could be the case, she suspected it was the other dude's baby or whatever the case may be. That's fine. And so she did a bunch of stuff, like she said, we got to raise them Jewish all of a sudden and all of this thing. Fine, whatever. All of that is nefarious. All of that is dastardly. I'm with all of that. That's fucked up. It's terrible. It's not paternity fraud, though, because she didn't know.
No, basically she did know.
Basically means she didn't know.
No, she did know.
She didn't know.
She did.
She suspected. How could she know? Look, unless you're telling me that she wasn't they made me remove you, see, Dave. Basically, unless she knew that you know what, I'm gonna end the live, matter of fact, because I think they're gonna come to get me too. My bad, y'all. I had to end the live. My fault, y'all. I had to end the live, man. Teresa said Mike is citing the case that legal scholars use to say paternity fraud is weaponized against women. Drop C Dave, though. I get tired of him lying. Okay. He go, I had to end the live. It gave me a violation, or for C Dave, but usually a lot of times when the people on the panel get a violation, I get a violation too. Like they'll ban my live or what. It's like the next thing coming. So it's like they caught him and then I responded to him. So if I said, yeah, I just was like, I ain't gonna even risk it. So I ended the live just to be safe.
The Apple should join.
Had to be safe, y'all. It was about time for me to end it anyway. I'm going on my 4th hour. But I appreciate y'all. We did it, Joe. Hey, man, shout out to the Tappers, Yappers, and Super Chatters, man. Best minds in the business, man. All the members, I love y'all for real, for real. I will holler at y'all tomorrow, Saturday. Hopefully, I don't be gone all day. I got a bunch of shit to do tomorrow. I might be off tomorrow. I don't know. Don't hold it against me, though. I'm going to at least do some videos. But I'm out.